got one shot to feel alive. We've only got one shot to feel alive. We've got one shot just to feel alive. We've got one shot. Yeah! We've got one shot till you feel alive. Get in, get out. You know that we won't back down to feel alive. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot. Whoa. We've only got one shot. Whoa. We've got one shot to make it count. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot.
Hello and welcome back to the EA Sports Creator Series. Today we are going to be finding out where we are racing very, very soon. It's a mystery Grand Prix week, and of course we just had the F2 almost coming to conclusion. No F2 next week, one race left in 2 weeks' time. TK, who is alongside me tonight, actually racing in that event, but we have a thrilling championship in that series, and we also have a thrilling championship tonight in F1, just 2 points splitting the top two drivers. Let's go through the introductions first. I am Gareth Allen. Alongside me tonight, TK, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Coming off the back of, like you said, a very eventful F2 feature and sprint race, but looking forward to seeing what our drivers do here in their mystery Grand Prix.
Yeah, and P4 in that race as well, in the F2. That's a really, really good result. Would you're quite quick in the F2 series. You know, the F2 contest is saying someone who's quite notable in the series already with just a few appearances.
I like to take my chances. I like the F2 cars. I like how they drive, very similar to Grand Touring cars in a way. But I think today, a little bit of lack of practice, but we managed to get up there near enough the podium.
Absolutely, it was brilliant to see you in the series, and someone else it's brilliant to see again is Sapitron back on the broadcast. How are you doing?
Doing great, mate. It's so good to be back in the hot seat and back on Clipbook tonight. Had a couple of weeks out, and to say, I had some amazing talent who've come in to fill the spot in previous races, I should say. So it's good to be back. It's good to see where we're potentially going tonight, and good to see these drivers pull out their absolute best.
Yeah, and fantastic to have you back. Of course, Discord to get those stream clips in. Anything that you can get towards Sappy will make his life easier, and it will probably be shown on the broadcast. Maybe you'll get a shout out too. So please get those clips in. But first, let's focus on the standings of the F1 Creator Series, sponsored by EA Sports. And it's Razin Shai, the pad merchant, who leads the championship with only 3 rounds to go, including tonight. 104 points, yet to score a win so far this season. But we've seen consistency win championships before. We saw it with Season 3 with Tom. We saw it Season 4 with Meraki. Consistency is everything, and he has that nailed down. But M-Sky Z, who won the first round back in China all those weeks ago, hot in pursuit, only 2 points behind. Tom97, he's in third, but not here tonight, unable to make the race due to the length of the Mystery Grand Prix. Remember, we do have those 30 minutes practice coming up. I've just remembered about that myself. Tim McMurdoch in fourth. He's a bit of an outside shot because he'll be away next week, actually at Bahrain. And it's GB68 who's in fifth, whose form has just crumbled. And it's also worth quickly going over those bottom drivers as well, because Dirk Chocolate, Chesnord Gaming, Curbs, El Taco Man, and Mr. Dale JE, all in the bottom 5. Remember, they will have to go into the playoff races in 3 weeks' time to preserve their spots, and there's only 4 spots that will be retained, because of course someone is going to get promoted definitely from F2. So basically that's a really thrilling prospect. But we do have a bit of a gap at the bottom. TK, what are your thoughts about the championship here in the Creator Series?
I'll tell you what, it's all up there, especially with the Mystery Grand Prix and highlight drivers. They don't necessarily know when they're racing. The practice beforehand will give them some kind of inclination as to how fast they're feeling. You did mention GB68 there. He had those wheel issues earlier on in the season. Luckily, I believe they're rectified now, so hopefully we'll see him start to push for the top spots once again.
Okay, so we may have to do a quick audio reset, so we'll be resetting our stream because it seems to have gone. Oh, we are back. So we are. It's better now. Look at that. We didn't even have to do anything in the background. Hello, we're not going for a stream reset. So, yeah, we can get rid of the standings, go back to all three and see our lovely faces and start to talk about the Mystery Grand Prix weekend we have in front of us. So, of course, we have the practice session, 30 minutes of practice, so our creators get to have a bit of time around the circuit. We have the full qualifying coming up after, and then a full 100% race. And often favours people who aren't maybe too hot on the game, like the types of Mishi Hoyer or Tom97, not too hot on the game, but just don't practice that much anyway for week in, week out Creator Series events. So those are people that can usually benefit. Tom97 not here though, so that's going to be very interesting. Who do you see doing well, Sapichon, out of this Mystery Grand Prix format?
I don't know, because the big thing here is going to be, well, drivers' ability to adapt quickly, to be versatile, and obviously they've all had some kind of experience on these tracks before, but when you go into an event like this, if you know beforehand, you spend that entire gap practicing. This time it's completely different, so I'm not sure who's been practicing on a variety of tracks or who's been sort of hoping that a particular track is picked. I have got my eyes on a couple of drivers. I'm hoping Mr. Dale J has a bit of an uptick in form. I've got my eyes on Meraki, and also I am keeping a firm eye on Alex Gillen because a first race of his return to Creator Series, he did pull out a really good, strong form. And I'm wondering if we're going to see that again here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go into these tracks. Let's go and look at the wheel for the first time. This is the first time a lot of you are finding out where we could race tonight. And it's the same 7 tracks as last time that didn't get picked, but Japan has been replaced by Brazil. So the Interlagos circuit coming in up for selection. TK, you're seeing these tracks. I'll be honest, everyone. I didn't tell TK which tracks could be selected. That's 100% on me. But I sent in my notes in the background. I hope they help, TK. But what are these tracks? Which tracks are favourites of yours out of these?
Personally, I'm a massive fan of Brazil. I think it's a great track that favours racing, favours wheel-to-wheel battles as well, as we see famously in that 2021 season with Hamilton and Verstappen being able to go side by side through pretty much every single corner. I really hope we end up racing there. Imola, another favourite, Spain as well. Both, all three of those really great tracks.
Yeah, the only track I wouldn't want to race around is Qatar, I'll be honest. Yeah. As long as that gets pulled out, it will be an elimination style, and we'll get into that very shortly, actually. Actually, should we just go for it? Should we remove the first track right now? Let's remove the first track right now. Come on, let's spin that wheel to get rid of the first track, and it's going to land on Qatar because I've rigged this. Oh, come on. Yes! There we are. Goodbye, Qatar. I definitely haven't rigged this, just so we all know. That was a joke. A 1 in 8 chance of that happening. And we're getting rid of that track. So that is removed from selection. And that's what I'm personally happy about. The rest of them, I'm very happy to commentate. So, TK, over to you.
Indeed. And chat, let's say it all together. Let's spin that wheel. For the second time, around it goes. What are we going to get? Nobody knows. It's Singapore by the looks of things. Another great street circuit losing away here in the elimination battle. And I'm not too disappointed that we're not seeing that tonight.
I know, it's one of those tracks that I feel is much improved recently, especially with the removal of that fiddly Mickey Mouse sector at the end. It's certainly easier to overtake. But let's go for it. Let's find out which next track is being removed. Let's spin the wheel once again. So here we are. Spain looks like it could be going. Is it Spain or Kota? It's just going to be Spain. And to be honest, you said it's one that you didn't mind to commentate, but I don't care. I can't wait till we go to Madrid. Going to say that. I think I'm one of the very few people who will say that.
I'm always up for a new circuit. I think I'll say that.
Yeah. I'm going to say something. With Spain, has anyone ever watched a good race around Spain at the Spanish Grand Prix? I don't think there's ever been a good race. And don't say like Maldonado's win, because that wasn't a good race. No, neither was Verstappen's, except from turn 4, lap 1. Not a good track. Not a fan of it.
Do we class 2016 as a good race? The Silver Arrows colliding on lap 1?
Yeah, but again, it's like the rest of it is rubbish. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Everyone knows I don't like the circuit to Catalonia. I like the circuit, but not for F1. Over to you, TK.
Well, let's spin that wheel for the 4th time. What track are we going to remove this time around? Hopefully Brazil can stay nice and free. And there comes the commentator's curse. It is Brazil being removed. 4 down, 4 remaining here for our drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have liked to commentate Brazil, but
Yeah.
I think all of these now are quite good. So yeah, let's whittle it down to 3. Let's go again. Come on, spin that wheel, Rob. It's producer Rob actually hitting the button, by the way, not the collective thoughts of everyone. And that's a shame. That's a track that I've never, for one reason or another, I've never commentated Zandvoort, and I feel like I've got the pronunciations of all the corner names down. So that's a shame we won't be commentating that one. But yeah, we've got 3 tracks left. Yeah, any favourites out of those, TK?
I think Imola has to be my standout favourite. Cota's a nice track to race. I'm not a massive fan of Mexico, although it does normally produce a good race. I'm just not a massive personal fan of it.
Absolutely, yep. So apparently Tom's crying with his home circuit not being selected and being removed from the pile. But yeah, TK, pull us away.
Well, here we go. 2 tracks in the Americas, 1 track in Europe. Spin that wheel for the 5th time here. Oh, okay. Thank goodness, Mexico leaves.
I don't mind Mexico. It's not a great track to race, but it can provide some interesting racing. Actually, I think both of these tracks now can provide interesting racing. Imola, we all love that circuit. Fantastic circuit to hot lap and pump laps around. Sometimes difficult to overtake down to turn 1. Cota, a very difficult track to actually race on. I was talking to Safso before the race, and he said that he would not like to race Cota because it's not a great one to race, but he said it would be a good one for the spectacle. So let's find out. We are going to find out in 5 seconds where we are going to race for this final Mystery Grand Prix of Season 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's spin that wheel for the final time. And it is going to be either Imola or Cota. And it is indeed going to be Imola that's selected, because I didn't actually specify it, but this Cota is removed, and it is going to be Imola, the fantastic circuit in Italy that we'll be racing around. I think you're happy about that one, aren't you, TK?
I am definitely happy. I really enjoy racing around Imola. It's a fantastic track for our drivers, and a real mix of technical challenging and straight line speed as well.
Yeah, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix will be our Mystery Grand Prix circuit. And yeah, I mean, I personally love a track with corner names. And yeah, so I if you want corner names, Aquaminolari, Piratella, Tosa, the Villeneuve chicanes, Vivazzas, they're just such good corner names to say. And a track with just turn names, T1, T2, T3, gets a bit monotonous. You don't really know what you're talking about, to be honest. So yeah, it's evocative, isn't it, TK?
It really is. It's a really nice set of corners that really roll off the tongue here, especially through the fast and flowing corners. You can kind of easily bang them out as they come up against our drivers. But a fun fact is as well, the F1 CEO here was indeed born in Imola.
Yeah, he was born like 5 minutes away, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Faenza-based team, of course. AlphaTauri or V-Carb or Minardi, whatever you want to call them. They're only about 30 miles away. It's their home circuit. Ferrari also quite close by as well, closer than they are to Monza certainly. So yeah, I mean, a fantastic circuit, and lots of history. Not all of it great, of course, but some fantastic battles going back into the early noughties. You talk about Juan Pablo Montoya and Schumacher coming together in 2004. Blind or stupid or something that Juan Pablo Montoya said on that occasion. So it's fantastic. We also have a storied Creator Series history here. Of course, I think Safso, who I just spoke about, got his last win in the Creator Series at this track. That was all the way back in Season 2. He's not been on the podium since Season 3. So let's see if he can do anything. I think the last time we did race it, a lot of our creators were away as well at an event in Dortmund. So a lot of those creators didn't get a chance to race it. Hayden Gullis, I think, indeed getting on the podium that day. That's how many good drivers were away if Hayden Gullis was podiuming.
Yeah, indeed. It was a trying and challenging time for a lot of drivers away. A lot of reserves stepping in, trying to make their debut. And yeah, just some drivers unexpectedly ending up on the podium. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to replicate that here today.
Yeah, so Sabitron, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts about this track? Have you been able to tune into any chatter from our creators?
So I haven't really been able to tune in to much of the chatter from the creators, but I can say, I mean, I'm personally happy with the track choice because, well, to summarise, if you gave me an option of playing Battleship versus Scrabble, I know what my decision's going to be. So corner numbers versus corner names, it's a lot better. Of course, steeped in history, both in real life and in the creator series, and it's going to certainly ignite some maybe previous season-long battles. Some drivers might be coming in a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, maybe coming in with some points to prove with this track in particular. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and keep an eye and see what we can find.
Yes, certainly. We also don't know what the weather conditions are going to be for the Imola circuit, so that could all come into play into it. Of course, we have intermediate championship points. Either way, if it's raining, if it's dry, people have got the inters on. I think it's Meraki who currently leads that championship. I think he got 3 intermediate championship poles, so he's had 3 points certainly in this championship so far. Someone who's really been focusing on that Q1 session, putting those lap times in that session, and starting way from the back has been his mantra. Of course, our reigning champion. So he's yet to actually get a win this season. But you know, maybe someone like Meraki, with the lack of practice, because he's not really as focused as he was for the season 4 championship. He's got his championship win. Maybe someone like Meraki can really benefit from the lack of time that everyone is allowed to put in through the Mystery Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, you know, we saw it previously in Mystery Grand Prix. It kind of turns the grid on its head somewhat. I know a lot of our drivers have been racing in other events recently. I know Team Atlantic and Alex Gillen both racing the Bathurst 12 hour just mere hours ago. So they might not necessarily be able to convert those GT cars into the F1 cars and find pace very, very quickly.
Yeah, big shout out actually to those drivers who are involved with that. I believe it's Hayden, Yorrett, Razin, Ben Daly and Alex Gillen who are doing that 12 hours of Bathurst, and I think Razin did a spectacular job binning it at the top of the circuit and causing them 15 minutes of repairs. So good job, Razin. I'm sure he's happy to have that brought up to the broadcast. But yeah, they are certainly in. But don't despair. I think it's Hayden Gullis. He's going in for the F1 stint. So we do have a lot of our creators still here. Razin, Ben Daly, Alex Gillen all here. Alex Gillen actually reserving for Tom 97. The only other person missing this week is El Taco Man in the Haas, one of the cars that is in the drop zone, actually in danger. I think he's actually second to bottom. We can look at the standings, but they aren't actually on the standings because El Taco Man's in such danger that he's not even in the top 20. So it's the 3 drivers there that are actually in danger. Of course, Dirk Chocolate, Chesnoid Gaming, Curbs, of course, reserves can't be put into playoffs. So we're looking at Nogueira in 16th position, who is on 30 points. He's the car on the bubble of those playoffs. Now, 16-point gap. We've got 3 events to go. No sprint race points. Do you think Dirk Chocolate, Chesnoid Gaming, Curbs, El Taco Man or Mr. Deal can get enough points to close down that gap? Because with the points they've been scoring, it's quite a big gap.
I think it's certainly going to be a worry for them, especially heading into a Mystery Grand Prix. Bahrain and Saudi Arabia in a couple of weeks are known quantities. They know how quick they can be around there. They know what the competition's going to be looking like. But going into today, when points are crucial, I think they're really going to have a worry on their head.
Yeah, I wonder if Mr. Dale could eke something out of this Mystery Grand Prix today. Certainly someone who he's a bit of a glass cannon. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that because he's so quick and you know it's crazy. I don't think he's ever had a top 10 in the series, which is an absolutely crazy style. I don't have that quite with me, but I know he certainly has podium, and he's got the most DNFs by far. He's so quick in qualifying quite often, but in the races just fails to convert it. But he did score some decent points last week. Indeed, a 12th place last week, which was his highest score point scoring position so far this season. So maybe a little bit of an uptick of form for him.
Yeah, actually, his only point scoring was last week at Portugal. The only other race he finished was actually, I believe, in China, P16. Everything else, either not attending or DNFing. So Mr. Dale really has a lot of work to do here tonight.
He really does. We are moments away for 30 minutes of practice around the Emilia-Romagna region, the Imola circuit. So it's yeah, we're very close to that. We'll have a little bit of chat through that. We'll be able to chat through the different styles and also work out any technical difficulties because that's what happened last time we were on. So you know, that is the producer Rob's saying don't curse it, but I'm saying welcome the technical difficulties, embrace them and make them your own. And then Yeah, it's certainly something you should do. Everyone, try that at home. Embrace your mistakes and embrace your errors. But hopefully, we won't have too many of those, and we can also go on get picture-in-picture involved for some of our drivers certainly out there. It was so good to see Safso picture-in-picture like last week. I know he's not doing it this week because his computer's too slow or something. So maybe we start a GoFundMe to get a better CPU for Safso. Would that be a nice thing to do for the Season 1 champion?
I think it certainly would. I think if we can, it'd be nice. It'd make the stream better on our end, especially.
Yeah, I'm gonna get very off piece. This practice. No one's watching practice. We could talk about whatever we want now. To be honest, we could talk about real F1. We could talk about whatever. But yeah, so there's an empty track in front of us. So we do have something to talk about, which is a dry racetrack. I can't see that there's any rain expected. So we do expect blue skies, and you'd expect that for a practice session. We'll see what it's going to look like through the race. But I tell you what, someone in chat has just mentioned Alex Gillen and having PTSD of this track. And I'm not quite sure why, because I don't think he finished off the podium around this track in the past. But maybe something in a co-op championship. But someone who he scored second place last time out. But before that, he was twice off the podium, which sounds like, oh, he's off the podium. That's not too bad. But for Alex Gillen, that's a big shock result. So, and it was, of course, the last Mystery Grand Prix where he got into a right tangle with his co-op championship and close friend Tiamat Marduk around turn 1 in Japan. They had a bit of a ding-dong battle. That gave Michi Hoyer the impetus to strike and take his second podium in the series, his first podium actually coming at this Imola circuit way back in season 3, or season 4, sorry. So, it's Alex Gillen, he seems to have picked up his form again. He seems to have got those worries behind him. Do you expect Alex Gillen to do okay here?
I think every time he steps onto a circuit, you expect Alex Gillen to do okay. He's one of those drivers that can bounce back from those little mistakes, those little spins, those little overcorrections. And as soon as he gets his head down, focus on the race, Alex Gillen will be a threat to every single driver around him in terms of looking on that podium.
Yeah, and it's interestingly, both AlphaTauris straight out there, they are last in the championship with 33 points. And it has to be said, the considerable sum of those 33 points are towards, I believe, Alex Gillen's name for the win he has back in Monza. Chesnoid and Mr. Dale not being able to pick up the points. Chesnoid Gaming, interestingly, someone who, 2 or 3 seasons ago was looking to even maybe take that place away from Dirk Chocolate and get a promotion to Red Bull, but now in a very precarious position, being down in 19th with only 10 points. It's going to be difficult for him to pull himself out of this one. He's currently there, out on track, putting in some times. Meraki also out there on track as well, coming through the middle sector. And we can have picture-in-picture with Meraki, our reigning champion. So let's see, is he going to go out on any intermediates? I don't think he is. I was going to wonder if he's going to get his eye in for the intermediates championships if he goes for so often, TK.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to see what tyres our drivers are picking here for this 30-minute practice session. I think if their focus is truly on the race, getting those crucial points, they will be looking towards the softs, the mediums, and the hard tyres. I don't think we'll see the intermediates come into play here, as much as they're a fun kind of crucial point for some of our drivers lower down. The top runners here really focusing on on pure race pace.
Yeah, so also Michi Hoyer, there we are. We can have a quick look at him. He's picture-in-picture today, which is great. Certainly someone who, when he came third, last time out in Japan, in the last Mystery Grand Prix, I should say, he came in the chat. He was really buoyant with his result. He was happy with his result, and he said that these are the kind of weekends that he comes for, because he is someone who can put in a good event here. And I think the second Mystery Grand Prix being at Imola, another track where he scored top 3 position, that's just going to be huge for him. I honestly see a really good race from him, maybe top 10 points for him.
Yeah, I hope he can continue, obviously, going out on the harder tyre as well, looking for maybe some race pace practice, not necessarily focusing on that qualifying straight out the bat. And I wonder if that will come back later to hurt him unless he switches onto the softs periodically.
Absolutely. Next over is to Infratic, the ambassador for the Ferrari esports team, the content creation ambassador indeed. So a bit of a home track for him in this way, and his sponsors. So let's see if he can do something. But Infratic is someone that, I mean, it's amazing. Infratic, he has the most points of anyone in the Creator Series not to score a podium. 137 points to Infratic's name. and he started off this championship so well actually. But since Ben returned, his teammate, because of course Ben was off for the first 3 rounds, he seems to have crumbled. And I don't know if this is just Ferrari, trying to stimulate themselves in the virtual world as well, where they can only have one good strategy between them.
Well, who knows? Ben coming back from extended time away, obviously getting back in, trying to gain as many points he could. But it goes to show for Emphatic how well consistency can help you in the longer run in the Creative Series. Obviously not getting a podium, but getting up there with constantly high points. And I think, as you said, the highest point scorer without a podium here.
Yeah, so Tom is going to be the next person we're going to go to, and the Dutchman, the Season 3 champion, currently out there on the lap. He's actually done a 25.363 through the first sector on a pair of medium tyres. That's about a second away from the pace of the fastest time so far. It's actually faster than the man we're just riding on board with. He's going to go to the top of the timing speed. He's had 2 purple sectors, but Tom here, he actually has a win in this season. Of course, he returned to form back in Baku in the second round of this season. And I don't know, maybe Tom is someone else who can really help out with this one, because certainly since his Season 3 championship winning year, he's someone else who's just stepped back from the throttle a little bit, stepped back from the sauna and stopped sweating as much as he did. But Tom will come to the line, so let's see what kind of time he can put in on those medium tyres, and he puts himself into 8th position, a 1:18.894, with Mr. Dale, the person who's first, with a 1:15.760.
Yeah, interesting. We're being told as well that Tom is running 80 kilograms of fuel for his initial runs here in this practice session. Going on further, a lot of drivers testing a high fuel load pace. So maybe practicing before that initial race start, trying to see what their pace will be in the first couple of laps and seeing if they can improve that from the get-go. And that's a real interesting approach by some of our drivers here.
Yeah, and hello to Only Vic's community. Thank you very much for the raid, Only Vic. I hope your stream went well. And yeah, the F2 race wasn't too bad for you, and I can't actually remember where you came, so that's too bad. But I do tend to have to tune out towards the end of the F2 races just to get ready for our F1 streams. But yeah, I hope you had fun. Certainly, that guy Vince in 7th position, Dirk Chocolate in 6th position, and the Red Bulls just haven't been able to seem to capture their form. I think the back in there were really a revelation through the qualifying sessions. They were absolutely sensational, but yeah, certainly Dirk Chocolate has just not scored too many points. That guy Vince, I think, is fairly safe where he is in the championship. He's 15th at the moment, 36 points, so that's for reference 6 points in front of Nugera, who is the man on the bubble, and then a further 20 points back before you get to the likes of Dirk Chocolate in 20th position in the championship and in that drop zone. So yeah, that guy Vince, Dirk Chocolate, I think that guy Vince is going to be safe, but I do feel we'll be seeing Dirk in the playoffs as we go into the end of Season 5.
Yeah, it could be really crucial. You mentioned a good qualifying for both Red Bulls earlier in the season, round 2, round Baku, but there was a DNF for that guy Vince, which could come back to really haunt him if he does find himself in the lower points positions at the end of these next 2 races. We're now on board with GB68, a driver finding himself kind of again mid-pack, well, upper mid-pack, P5 at the moment in the current championship standings. And now with the wheel issues sorted, I reckon he's good to run for a bit of a challenge on those front runners.
Yeah, GB68, someone, I mean, part of what his problem has been over the last year then, so it's not just a crumbling of, his own kind of fortitude, but it's been his own equipment as well that's been failing him, whether it's been his wheel disconnecting, as certainly last night he was streaming, he had wheel issues, he had to go off his stream and realign his pedals, sorry, not his wheels, he had a pedal issue, so he had to realign his pedals and do something with that, and he seemed to be very unhappy with that, so that's maybe why his form has dropped off. Of course, he was joint leader of the championship going into round 3, and now down in 5th position with 82 points. I mean, he's not miles away from the lead. It's only the likes of 22 points in front is Razin Shai. So, you know, one good weekend for him and a bad weekend for a few other cars in front. But there's so many cars in that bubble waiting to pounce.
Exactly. There's a couple of tough tracks coming up as well. Bahrain's been known to be able to throw cars left, right and centre. Going then to the narrow streets of Saudi Arabia, it's all to play for really, and we know that how sometimes tracks can come back and really ruin a driver's race.
Yeah, we've got one more big picture, and it is going to be the Aussie Ben Daly, Tiamat Marduk, who of course has always been the bridesmaid in the Creator Series, and it's looking more so like it's going to be that way this season again. Now he's missing the next race. He's away in Bahrain unless he's doing next on the pad, which I highly doubt he'll do, because he promised to do that basically every single time through the first 3 races of the season when he was away back in his homeland of Australia. But Ben, I mean, he's been quite sensational since he has returned. Of course, a race win back 2 rounds ago in Austria. He also got a race win that day in the F2, which he was reserving for. Of course, no points for that transfer over to the F1 Creator Series points and standings. But Ben, he's just been up there straight away back on it, and it's almost like because the pressure is off, he's just been able to go and score and have fun and get some big results for the Scuderia.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, the race win in Austria, the podium immediately after coming back from his holiday away in Monza. That's 2 massive results for the Ferrari team, trying to drag Infratic somewhat along with him. But yeah, the pressure's off him. He has nothing to prove here in Season 5. He's just here to race, enjoy himself, and get that car across the line in one piece.
Yeah, so he's put 2 personal best sectors in, and he jumps up into 6th position. So that's on a pair of softs. He's about 1.5 seconds away from the pace of Sasso, who's the only man into the 114s. But of course, much like real life F1 testing, we have no idea of fuel loads here. So it could be a bit of sandbagging and a bit of race preparation really going on for the different drivers. Remember, this is the only 30 minutes they have to practice this track before we jump into qualifying. It's very much a reset kind of weekend. You're not able to put the preparation in. In fact, we don't reveal where the circuit's going to be. So, you know, if someone did have a time to practice all 8 circuits, they don't actually have, they don't actually have that list to work on. So, yeah, it's a fascinating concept we have in the Creator Series. I believe this is our 5th Mystery Grand Prix across all 5 seasons. 1 in Season 3, 2 in Season 4, and 2 in Season 5. And GB68 on the radio, it's so crucial we don't understeer wide. Yeah, it's also crucial you don't oversteer, I guess. So, so maybe just something very particular with his setup, which is making it a bit understeery, and he's just got to be patient on the throttle then.
He does indeed, but that's exactly what this practice session is for, being able to fine-tune those setups. You don't get that opportunity in qualifying. Park Firm being obviously on and restricting how much the drivers and the teams can change their setups around here. But obviously this practice session, they can change anything on their car. Tyre pressures, suspension setups, anything they want, and hopefully GB will be able to really rein in that setup and get it just working perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. So out there on a lap at the moment, he's currently down in 16th position. He's putting personal best through the first and second sectors, but I think that was a little bit running wide out of the chicane of Variante Alta at the top of the hill, now plunging downwards towards the Ravazzas. Turn 17 and 18 on this historic track, and it will round him out onto the final corner, and it will be DRS open, and it'll be a little bit of DRS burn towards the line, and he'll cross over the line, and he improves to 17th. No, yes, 17th. So I don't actually think he, yeah, that was about the time. He did seem a bit sloppy through the Variante Alta.
Yeah, on the medium tyres, of course. Don't forget, if you want to join in the conversation, hashtag F1 Creator Series on X. Do get yourself involved. Do share your thoughts with us, and we will try and read them as well. Maybe end up on the stream. But Team at Marduk looks like he's heading for another run here on the soft tyre. 2 laps old, these tyres, and I'm not quite sure of fuel load, but we'll see what he can put down this time around.
Yeah, so Ben's already invalidated this lap. So he did that on the exit of the final corner of Vavazza 2. So he, yeah, he's not going to get the time in, but you know, it's only practice again. So it's you know, if you're going to have any track invalidations, this is the time to do it. Practice is the time to do it. As we go over to Mr. Dale, who's currently in 4th position, so straight out the box, he's been super quick here, and he's just coming towards the middle of the second sector, the left-hander of Piratella as you plunge downhill to Acqua Minerale, which literally just translates to mineral water. But sounds so much better in Italian. But towards the Variante Alta we go, and through the middle sector we get a split time, but he's just off the pace. So I think he's just cruising at the moment. He's on those hard tyres, so he's just he's putting in some times that are representative of race pace, not qualifying pace.
Yeah, I think he's going maybe a slightly higher fuel load than a few of our drivers currently out on the track on the higher load. We saw him do a run on the mediums earlier. He's now, like we said, on the whitewood hard tyre, and maybe race pace for that initial stint, just getting some planning in for himself.
Yeah, I certainly actually think that's quite a smart move because that's where all the points will come from, and me comparing him to being a glass cannon, me saying that maybe a little bit harsh, but I often feel like his one lap pace is so magnificent. He just needs to dial it back, and this is Unstopped Rob, who is in the El Taco Man's car. El Taco Man, of course, probably someone who is going to be knocked down, but Unstopped Rob are F2 championship leaders, so close indeed to actually winning that championship. I think a few more points today, and he would have been able to do that. I think he's about 14 points away from securing it next time out in Saudi. That won't be next week, it'll be the weekend after because of the clash of real life. But Unstopped Rob coming into the pits there, and he's someone who is going to impress next season in F1 for sure.
Indeed, almost guaranteed that spot after a fantastic race out in Bahrain this time around in the Formula 2 just a few hours ago, coming from towards the back of the grid after a late pit stop. But now his focus definitely on the F1 as he finds himself in P12 for this Mystery Grand Prix practice.
Yeah, it'd be great to have a third Frenchman on the grid, of course. Two Frenchmen currently sitting in at McLaren at the moment. Peya, who is currently in 6th, he's on an outlap at the moment, and Skyzy, who's in 10th. Nogueira is also coming through the final corner at the moment, and he is someone who is setting some personal bests, so we could see a little bit of improvement from himself. We do see that indeed. He jumps up into 3rd as he is in a 1:15.388. So a decent pace from the man who currently sits in the Alfa Romeo, the Portuguese driver who didn't have the best home race last time out. Actually, it finished outside of the points alongside Emphatic, also finished outside the points. The two Portuguese drivers not being able to capitalise in the Algarve.
Yeah, really unfortunate drive out for them last time. I think they had good race pace. Obviously, the lack of safety cars really threw a lot of our drivers. Maybe some underfueling, having to lift and coast towards the end of the race. And that might have just caught them out a little bit, unsettled their nerves.
Yep, so Peya now going through the middle sector, uphill towards the left-hander of Piratella. Is that Piratella? No, it is Piratella. Yeah, I was just wigging myself out for a little bit, down into Acromona Ali. And the McLaren doing decently. He's scored some consistent points, but again, a poor results last week. In fact, didn't DNF'd last week. That is going to hurt McLaren in their championship fight for the constructors. I should mention the constructors. I can kind of tend to forget it, but it's Mercedes who lead constructors at the moment with a 176 points. Michi Hoyer scoring some big points, 38 points to back up Razin Shai's championship leading amount. It is Ferrari in 2nd with 152 points and McLaren in 3rd with 152 points. So super close. Ferrari only ahead because of the results they've had throughout the season being slightly better than McLaren's. But, if McLaren want to look to try and take that position after about 25 points, 26 points behind Mercedes, they've got to work together. And I think that the most crucial thing is we know, the main drivers, Ben, Razin and Mem Skyz can score good points week in, week out. But if that second driver is scoring good points, then the constructors is a lot easier in the Creator Series for them.
Indeed, it's Ferrari who are just ahead by actually one race victory. Actually, that's all that separates them in terms of race results. So going into the last 3 races here could be really crucial in terms of constructors, just to get those good, consistent points. We got some team radio from that guy Vince, and he said, "Do I have some good race pace around here?" I'd say so, yeah. So confidence from the driver, and that's always good to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, his last probably big result was 4th in China back in the first round of this season. Also got a really unexpected win last season in Mexico after there was all sorts of shenanigans late on. Tiamat Murder was born on the streets of Mexico, as we see a moment onto the grass there. We've seen that badly in real life. Of course, Bottas all over the place. That was wet conditions that helped spear that case. But Nogueira deciding to pit, to do an overtake off the grass there on a Williams driver. I think that is Curbs who's just behind.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, no, it's Devil Noob. There is no Curbs today.
No.
I've just realised that. Devil Noob. Okay, I don't have notes for Devil Noob, but he was in the F2 today. But he's doing double duty today.
He is indeed. I believe he got a podium in the F2 sprint race.
It would have been Meraki who was being passed there off the grass. So a bit of a hairy, scary moment there, but he went for it. But opinion time, TK. We've spoken about people on track. I'm bored of that now. Who do you see winning this championship with how tight it is? It could be really a battle between MSkyZ and Razin. Other people aren't too far away, but those are the two main protagonists in my eyes. Who do you think could get it out of those two?
I think, well, I'm gonna bring a third contender in. I mean, initially Tom97 was probably my favourite to win the championship, but now he's out for this race. He throws away 25 crucial points that he could have won. So I think between Razin and MSky, I think MSky could just nab it on the final 3 races of the season here.
Yeah, I mean, MSkyZ, he's been scintillating since he burst onto the scene back in Season 3. He took Bushy Ant's seat midway through the season when Bushy Ant had to drop off. But MSkyZ, someone I absolutely loved. I felt like he was rookie of the season back in Season 3. Season 4, just missing out a little bit of unluckiness for certain results not going his way. A certain incident in Brazil with Mr. Dale certainly not helping him, as they crashed into him, but they kissed and made up after, so it's all fine. Yeah, Razin Shai, someone, as producer Rob is actually telling me in my ear, that is someone who struggles a bit more without the practice, and that could be very much a character. Okay, he said Skyzy apparently, so I'm completely chatting nonsense. But Razin Shai being on the pad, how do you think that affects this championship dynamic really for him?
I don't think it affects it in any way, shape, or form. It's just a different way to drive the car in terms of, look at automatic versus manual gear shifts in cars. You've got just 2 different ways of operating the same vehicle. Razin's obviously found himself to be quicker on that pad. He enjoys it. He knows how to tune the car in, and I'm all for it. He obviously knows how to get that car around a track a lot quicker than I can. And if he can do that consistently week in, week out, I think the championship could be going his way.
JD Devil Noob in chat saying he's never expected to be here. Well, be here, cause some drama, and make it fun for us, Devil Noob, and we'll be very grateful for it. But Razin Shai actually jumped up into first briefly there with a 1:14.72. Of course, all of these, it's just for bragging rights, just getting your nose in. He jumped into first, but then Safso immediately jumped in better in the first and final sectors. That's where he was finding his pace. So to me, that would say that he's got a bit more on that content. Of course, we're not in park firmware conditions yet, but that's a bit more straight line speed through those sectors, whereas this middle sector is very tight and fiddly and favours a bit of wing being put on the car.
Yeah, indeed. A lot goes into setup. They've still got time to obviously fine-tune them. About 8 minutes left in this 30-minute practice session. We are being told that Tia McMarduk is suffering some technical issues in the latter stages of this practice. So I wonder how that will affect him going into our qualifying here.
Yeah, it's someone who, I mean, he's basically third in the championship when we're talking about people who are here today. Of course, I know Tom97. He could very easily leave being third in the championship here. Even, first in the championship, it could happen for him. But, of course, being away next week, he's away in Bahrain. I've said that about 50 times. I hope he has announced that on stream already. I think I've seen that on a stream. That's why I know that he's in Bahrain. He's away. He's away somewhere. It may be Bahrain. It could be Saudi. Who knows? But Tom, right behind the Ferrari there, is really just getting a bit of a toe there and jumping up to 6 spots. So that's good. But yeah, Ben, someone who will hope to get those technical difficulties out of the way, because he's not away here next week. He is going to be struggling to score points next week. There will be no points scored next week for him. And if he needs any shout of being in the championship, then he needs good points. And so we have Tom going through Tosa right now, where Maldonado and Schumacher came together, and someone who is perfectly decent around in the F1 game. Actually came alive in F1 23 back in the previous 2 games, which of course we ran through the first and second seasons for F1 22. Wasn't fantastic. Tom, someone who could get a surprise result out of this today. Often aggressive on race starts. After maybe a less than ideal qualifying session.
Yeah, I think he's one of those drivers that doesn't necessarily take a bad qualifying session to heart. He can bounce back. He gets his mind focused on that race, and he knows what he has to do to try and kind of finish the race in high hopes. Obviously, the driver associated with Alpine as well, who are looking very racy for the 2024 season in Formula 1.
Yeah, are they looking good? Alpine looking good. I mean, the
I hope so.
Livery is atrocious. Let's get it out there. It looks like a patchwork quilt gone wrong. It's probably my least favourite livery on on the grid.
I think they've left half the paint at the factory.
Which is bad because I think, I honestly, I genuinely think the Alpine was maybe my favourite livery. Even the pink livery they had for round 2, round 1 and 2 last season was a bit of a standout of mine because it had the colour on, and the other cars started to drop the paint and put in the carbon. I do not like the colour of that. But is it quick? Is it then generally quite decent, that car pace wise?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We've got Bahrain coming up this time next week. As we said in this practice session, we can't take anything from the initial session. Sandbagging really coming into it. We know Alpine have been quite frequent at that, rather, in the latter seasons gone by.
Yep, and thank you very much for Hoodie Pete for raiding. I hope your stream went well. I hope F2 went well. Actually, at one point you were leading a race, weren't you, in F2? During one of the safety cars, certainly, as we see Tiet Mamada go four-wheel drifting through the second to last corner of Avatsa 1 and coming into the pits. So he's spent those tyres and he just burn those up and take them off. So yeah, how long do we have left in this session? We have 34 minutes and 35 seconds. So really that's just 4 minutes and 32 seconds left here. Tom, Team Radio coming in. And why was Ben on AI mode? Why was Ben on AI mode? He was fixing stuff, that's why. So Tom questioning what's going on with his combatants out there, and maybe sensing that there's going to be some more places to make up if maybe some technical issues face other teams.
Yeah, I think that could have been really crucial for Tom as well. Like, as we said earlier, he was going for those quicker run attempts, down to 20 kilograms of fuel in the Alpine, looking to put some qualifying practice in, and then to have a car basically stood in the middle of the track in that AI mode. We know how annoying that can be, frustrating for the driver as well. Not necessarily if they get in the way, but just having another car in the wrong place. And yeah, definitely threw him off one, as we saw by that team radio.
Yeah, something I want to draw attention to. It's very interesting, some of the strategies that are being employed. That's a very interesting strategy from Elway Giri to just cut the chicane at Variante Alta. I don't know if that was him just trying to rush back to the pit so he has time to get another lap in. I think it was because his EOS is flashing as Alex Gillen jumps up to the top of the time screens. But some drivers, like Alex Gillen, have gone for a pair of hards, done a few laps on a long run, now gone for a pair of softs. Other drivers like Safso, 1 lap on softs, 1 lap on softs, 1 lap on softs. He's used 3 set of soft tyres so far, and he's just gone on for that single run pace to try and dial it in. So some people finding the limit by going very, very quickly. Some people are trying to ease themselves into this practice session and ease themselves into learning the track, knowing that if they DNF, then their opportunity for learning is gone.
Indeed, we got told earlier a lot of drivers heading for the balanced tyre allocation, which did give them 4 sets of those fresh soft tyres. Going back to Elway Giri and his interesting attempt, that was, I believe, the Hayden Gullis esports line. GB with Team Radio though, tyres are quite worn and quite hot right now. He is on a set of softs, I believe, and not doing too well on them. Actually, on the mediums.
Yeah, GB Radio sounds like some kind of very nationalist radio station, doesn't it? But
yeah,
he is. He was on a pair of softs. He is on a pair of softs, sorry, but went a bit wide through the left under of Peretella, and truthfully, just going wide everywhere, a bit sloppy out there. And he did mention early on, we need to avoid the understeer. So he's not heeding his own advice out there. The Aston Martin going through the final sector, but I think he's just slowed off a little bit, certainly backed out of this lap. I think it has been in the validation, so he'll try and just wind it up for another lap with 1 minute and 55 seconds on the clock. He doesn't have time to go in and out, and he's went wide at the last corner as well, so that very much could be in validation for this lap. So maybe he won't be improving that. Yeah. Apologies, everyone, for the cameras. They're a bit woeful around him, Miller. You're going to enjoy lap 1. I will try to enjoy lap 1 because you kind of have to make it up as you go along into turn 1. That's just how we have to deal with it. Yeah, that's how it is. We will get something nice for you on stream. But anyway, Alex Gillen is in first currently. Sato in second. Razin Shai in third. And GB has retired on track, so he is coming close to the 30 minutes. 1 minute and about 10 seconds left for everyone at home as the Haas of Unstopped Rob runs wide. And I mean, TK, you've been in the F2 cars today. How difficult is it to jump from practicing hard for the F2 races, then jumping to that different feeling F1 car?
they're completely different cars to drive. Not necessarily in a figurative sense, in a literal sense as well. They drive so much differently. It's mechanical grip versus aero grip in the Formula One cars. You can turn the Formula One cars in on a dime. The Formula Two cars, you always have to drift into a corner sometimes. So Rob may be finding his feet here still in the Formula One cars, and just dialing those laps in lap after lap. But he hasn't got much time left. Less than a minute now, I believe.
Yeah, so it's a very much because I feel the F1 cars, though it's at that esports level. I'm not comparing our guys to esports levels because they're just frankly not. Certainly in racecraft, sometimes they aren't esports level, but in the F1 cars, it's very much you need a little bit of understeer on your side. In the F2 cars, you need a bit of oversteer.
A lot of people like oversteer in the Formula 2 cars. They quite often complain the understeer is horrific in the Formula 2 cars, not just in the game but in general. And yeah, they prefer an oversteery setup in Creator Series.
Right, so that is the end of the session. Cars that are going... session has kind of been red flagged, I guess. Everyone is being told that if they are on a lap, they can complete the lap. So we are looking at the likes of Dirk Chocolate, Tiamat Marduk, I believe, who are coming through and finishing their laps. I don't see anyone improving. Oh, I say that. Nugata goes over the line into the first. So he wasn't improving on my timing screens, but he has gone considerably quick there, 2 tenths quicker than anyone else. Of course, it's hard to get a good read of pace here, but if he can dial something like that into the race, then you know, it certainly could be a contender for Q3 here. And yeah, it's hard to really get a read. Dirk Chocolate taking the Patterson line through the Tamburello chicane there, and referring to when Patterson went a bit bowling back in the race in season 4 and took a number of cars out, but Dirk Chocolate just cutting through, of course. That's the end of this session. So it was Nogueira his first, Alex Gillin a second, and Sasso third for practice. Those people are quick. Who has impressed you, TK?
I think there's a few drivers that have impressed me. Nogueira coming out of pretty much nowhere to set that pole lap. Sasso being consistently quick. I mean, I've got to give it to Rob as well, coming out of the F2 cars straight into the Formula 1 cars on a mystery Grand Prix track, and being able to put down laps. We'll see how he goes in qualifying, but P14 in a practice session, I'm impressed.
Yeah, Sabutron, you've been able to listen into our drivers and get a read of the field. You know, what's the general reaction out there from our creators?
I mean, the general reaction's been, say, fairly mixed on Imola. I know a couple of drivers definitely had their eyes on some of the other tracks that were on the wheel of fortune. But what we do know is that drivers have tried to make the best of it. We saw a lot of them try and go for some high fuel runs, just try and establish good technique, get themselves into the swing of a good rhythm, multiple laps. Some of them went for high runs. Very impressed with Sasso, put on a really good run. I was kind of hop on board with him for a bit. He was really putting the work in. You had some others who I think was a bit of a saving grace for him. Like let's say we were on board with Tiamat Marduk. He was having technical issues for I think about 10 of those 30 minutes. So he was having to deal with that. So a bit of a blessing in disguise. And then you got a couple of other drivers who have sort of gone in the middle, had a chance to get a feel for what the track is like on some of the different compounds. I have got a little bit of a clip. There wasn't really much action on track per se. Everyone was kind of in their own little bubbles, but we did have a bit of a wobble from Michihoya. You can just see come through Villeneuve.
I don't know.
And big slide just coming out there. So you can see it was a really good opportunity for drivers to get that out of their system in a way.
Yeah, big grin from Tom. There's an indicator, there's a concentration level scale with Tom, and it's how wide his mouth is open, and his mouth was only open for a bit of a laugh at Michihoya there as he went through Villeneuve. If you see it wide open, then it is, you know, the bug catcher mode is enabled, and he is full on sweat. So yeah, Tom just relaxing there and you know, taking in the practice session, just looking at the results of that session previously. Razin Shai was in 4th. He did set a quick time on those soft tyres. M-Sky-C didn't set a quick time on soft tyres, so we haven't got a true comparison between our two championship protagonists. But yeah, we are going to be able to jump into qualifying very soon indeed. There are some cars going out there, but we'll just wait a moment before we actually get to those laps, before we actually go over But Q1, I think what's really crucial in Q1 is some of those drivers who are in the drop zone. We talked about Dirk Chocolates, Mr. Dale, and people like that who are very much at danger. They can pull themselves out of those drop zone spots and get themselves through into qualifying 2, qualifying 3, and put themselves in a good position for the race.
Indeed, they qualifying is so crucial in preparation for the race. Full qualifying Q1, Q2, Q3 to come, and I'll tell you what, I for one would not want to be sat around for about 20 minutes doing nothing during 2 and 3.
Yep, so we do have cars out there on track. Of course, the Intermediate Championship is being run. Exclamation mark Inters in chat if you want a full description of that. But basically, the long and short of it, whoever gets the fastest time in Q1 on those intermediate tyres are the people who will score an extra point in the driver's standings. There's also a whole intermediate championship that Set R11 kindly puts together, but you will see what happens with that. But Dirk Chocolate, the first man out there on Inters. Indeed, I think everyone who is out there at the moment is on those intermediate tyres. So Dirk Chocolate coming through the final 2 corners of a Batsa 1 and 2, and a man who's really in desperate need for a good result in the series is this man. I was talking to him before and saying, podium's cracked on today, and I don't think he got that as being sarcastic, because he was explaining like he's just finding it very difficult to get the level of preparation that's really ever created this move in there. But yeah, Dirk Chocolate going through the first sector, but we can go over to Razin Shai, who is someone who is often a contender for that intermediate fastest lap. Indeed, I think he has got one of those this season. Also 2 pole positions this season so far. Actually, the pole position standings for the Creator Series Season 5 so far is 3 for Tom97. He won't be scoring any because he's not here today. Sky Z has 2 and Razin Shai has 2. So those are the only 3 drivers who have had a pole position so far in the Creator Series this season. And Razin Shai, of course, we're not looking at absolutely quick times here. We're just looking at times that will see them maybe score an extra point. Fastest through the first sector, well, he was, before Tia McMurdo equalled it through the first sector, a 25.194 for Razin Shai, and it's a 27.197 for Razin Shai through the middle sector. Faster than Dirk Chocolate, but that guy thinks we're probably not going to be up there on the Inters. So that's that guy Vince ruling himself out that one, and Razin Shai goes to the line a 1:18.613. Is that good intermediate pace? It's hard to find out, really.
Yes, great first lap there by Razin Shai. Safso and that guy Vince, I believe, getting the tie for fastest sector 1 so far on the intermediates. Razin Shai looking to lay down the intermediate championship after not being able to score a fastest lap here on the intermediate tyres yet in season 5. Do you reckon he'll see his first one today, Gareth?
I don't know. He's someone who's not particularly on it with the intermediate laps, I must say. I mean, Aston Martin were someone who were a team that were in the constructors fight last season, but they've just not been able to manage to do it. But it is a track he likes. He's won around here in the Creator Series, and he goes into 4th position. So Razin Shai's time of 1:18.613 still proving strong. The only person that's challenging out there is Meraki, who is down in 17th position. No, sorry, that's the Alpine of Alex Gillen, sorry, is challenging in 17th position. It's because they haven't turned their stuff on in the background, but Alex Gillen is on a pair of softs, so that's why he's gone quicker. He is not bothered about the intermediate championship points, so straight away we're going to have someone breaking the tradition of the intermediate championship. Of course, you don't need to go for it. If you don't want to go for it, don't go for it. But Alex Gillen going to get out there straight away and set the first indicator of true pace out there, and it's a 1:14.502, which for reference is about 3/10 away from Mugello's quick time in practice just earlier on.
Yeah, fantastic lap from Alex Gillen there, really laying down the gauntlet for a lot of other drivers, forcing them maybe to switch on to the soft tyre a little bit earlier than they would have expected to. Maybe some running the intermediate a little bit longer, trying to get that extra point, as you know, points definitely matter in this championship.
Absolutely. Well, I find, as GB has a bit of a moment out of Variante Alta, and indeed gets onto the grass on the left as well, so a bit sloppy for him. But what I find very frustrating when someone goes for a soft tyre lap this early on is now I can't see who's got the purple sepsis for intermediates, because it's been completely obscured by, of course, the quick lap on the dries. But yeah, GB backing out of that one. So he's down in 5th position, 4th fastest on those intermediates. Paya now out there on a pair of intermediates, but he seems to be going fairly slowly. It doesn't feel like he's on a super quick lap there, and indeed his light is flashing. So to me, that would say that he's spent his juice and his apple carton is empty, and he'll be returning to the pit. So maybe it's just because of the tyres. Actually, that's a very good point. So it is indeed the tyres that are of course making the light flash, because when the rain, it's of course a rain light as well as a battery indication light. So he is just winding up for a lap. But Tim McMurdoch saying, got to get a feeling back in those tyres. So Ben just struggling on the intermediates there, and not getting the feeling, and being quite dramatically off the pace from the fastest intermediate time, which is a 1:18.613. He was about a second and a half away from that.
Yeah, on a track like Imola, you really start to feel the effects of the intermediate tyre compared to the soft. Just the lack of grip that it sometimes provides around the high-speed corners, and somehow some of these drivers are pulling out fantastic lap time. Vince and Razin Chai both up there on the intermediate laps, and some of them really suffering, like we heard with Ben earlier.
Yep, so round 8 of the Creator Series, Mystery Grand Prix number 2 of the season, and Paya about half a second off the pace here of the intermediates, and a big wobble out of Acqua Minerale as he goes back onto the power. Very, very difficult, and now he's invalidated for good measure, so he will not be setting a good time here, as we see Dirk Chocolate do a very nice Dirk Chocolate line through the final 3 corners, and that is going to slow him down into the over the line, so he knows he's just going to bail out on that one. But it's Alex Gillen who leads at the moment, the only man to set time on those dry tyres, the slick soft compound. Razin Chai leads the intermediate championship points at the moment. He's in 2nd position overall. 3rd is that guy Vince. 4th is Michi Hoyen. 5th is GB68. Cars to set not set times yet is Dirk Chocolate, Meraki, M Sky Z, Mr. Dale, Dave Gaming, Devil Noob, Elway Giri, Nugera, Emphatic. And Emphatic's just going out on an outlap. And Meraki indeed on a decently quick lap here through the middle sector on a pair of intermediates. And this is a person who will not go for a overall fast lap. He's literally just looking at the last to first challenge in the races, so he's only looking at that intermediate points, and he's gone through the 2nd sector now, and again his personal best through the 2nd sector. Not surprising if he's not set a lap time yet, but he's going to come around the final corner and he's going to get on the power as gingerly as he dares, and then he's going to go cross over the timing beam. And has Maki done enough to upset Razin Chai here? Yes, he certainly has. There we are. He takes the fastest intermediates time when M Sky Z had just pipped Razin Chai to it. Meraki comes in and says, nope, that intermediate championship point is mine.
Yeah, fantastic lap by the Williams and Meraki. Like you said, wanting to start at the back, trying to find his way through the grid when we come onto this 100% race after the qualifying session. I did expect a lot more drivers to head onto the soft tyre. We saw Dave Gaming there just set a 1:14.8 to slot himself into P2. There's a few more starting to bolt on the softer tyre, but I was expecting more of them to answer Alex Gillen's call a lot earlier on.
Certainly, yeah. So, yeah, Dave Gaming, the only person to do that so far. The other cars are all in the pit element. Actually, no, we have outlaps for everyone below 15th, except from JD Devilnoob, as Emphatic actually goes on to a timed lap, and that guy Vince coming around the final corner to set an intermediate up. But JD Devilnoob quickly has had a bit of a game issue, so he is not being able to participate in this session. That guy Vince over the line, and he is just winding up for a lap, is he? Or is he just coming into it? But we do have... that was a lap. He didn't improve that much, so that's how shocking it was. Emphatic out there on a quick lap on a pair of the soft tyres, so he is someone who is starting to set the pace at a 24.178 through the first sector, and he is going to be going picture-in-picture here on the Creator Series. We can see the concentration from the man at his home race for the Ferrari team, and down for Acqua Minerale now. Where can he put his car, and how close do we expect him to get to Alex Gillen here pace-wise?
I think he'll definitely jump himself probably up into P2 here. We know Emphatic can be consistent. It's a track that I think he loves, being one of his home races effectively for the Ferrari team. He's just got to make sure no mistakes on the lap. That's what we sometimes see with Emphatic. Just a little bit of a kick out for the rear end, maybe a little bit too enthusiastic as he runs through the corners as he comes around the final corner now in towards turn 19, the little right-hand kink before the finish line. And what's he going to lay down? It is P4, worse off than Michi Hoyer and Dave Gaming. Not a bad lap by Emphatic, but definitely not the best one.
I think I could name mine how from Emphatic, but before the lap, He said he's going to aim for 114. Let's go easy. I think you went a little bit too easy, Emphatic. You're about 6 attempts away from that kind of lap time. So Emphatic has more to find out there and will be struggling out there. Look at Mr. Dale. He's in front of him. Trouble needs to get knocked down. Chestnut Gaming has a 116 to his name, so he must have made a mistake on his lap. But Vaz Shai has jumped up the timing screens to absolute fastest. He's abandoned those intermediate tires. I think Miraki has those intermediates, but Noguera, we saw him quick in practice. He's gone purple, 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 and that is a sublime lap. What are we seeing from the Portuguese driver here?
Absolutely fantastic by Noguera. He found that setup, he locked it in during the practice, used that half an hour absolutely fantastically, and has found 3/10 on Razin Shai, which you don't often hear.
So Dirk Chocolate has improved to P10, just in front of Emphatic, behind Tom, splitting them, but very roughly equidistant between the deltas as well. 2 tenths off Tom and only 3 tenths in front of Emphatic. Rob is in 17th position. He's going to be coming around the final corner. Of course, he's got first proper lap times, and he has invalidated, so he is not going to be able to do this and next lap. So he's got 1 lap to actually come in. He's going to come in, box a new pair of socks, and hope for the best with that final lap. Hope he isn't compromised. Hope something doesn't go against him here.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time to make up. He's got to get around this track as quick as he can. Team radio coming in from Emphatic saying, I don't think I'm safe. I need to go out again. And the driver that finds himself in P11, I think he might be right. He's teetering on that relegation zone. A lot of drivers below him heading out on their outlaps. So the Ferrari, both Ferraris actually, himself and Tiamat Marduk, are definitely in a lot of danger here.
Yeah, certainly. I feel like the cutoff will certainly be a high 114, certainly. So we're looking at maybe Mr. Dale, Michi Hoyle, all having to go out again. We're seeing a fairly limited field spread here as we see Rob pass that car, but he's coming into the pits. Meraki out there again on a pair of intermediate tyres. I don't think you need to do it, Meraki. He's already got the fastest intermediate time by my notes, and I don't think anyone else is going to challenge him for it. So coming through the middle section now, the left-hander of Piratella at the top of the hill, plunging down towards Aquaminolale, the right-hander. You have to be so delicate on traction, certainly on those intermediates. But M Sky Z, the man second in the championship, very much under threat here. Of course, yet to set an intermediates time, and the Frenchman who yet to set a soft time. Sorry, he has. Yeah, he's second in the championship. We expect him to improve on this lap, but he just needs to get a solid banker in here, because if he makes the invalidation, he could be under serious risk, as we see Safso do the first ego retirement of the session. He's decided that he's all good for this one, so he is going to be able to go through the final sector with M Sky Z. It will be the track limits here that's going to be absolutely crucial, but if he does get it wrong, he can put it into the pits here. Noguera also ego retires from first, and I think he's cleanly through there. So M Sky Z, he's set some green sectors out there, and he goes up into fifth. So I think that is safe, but he will have time to go back in and out, and it'll be interesting to see whether he goes for it. GB68 now is out there on a lap 2.
He is indeed. He's currently finding himself in P16, definitely within that danger zone. Well, actually in the danger zone as we head through the remnants remaining of this Q1 session. 3:33 on the clock to go, and he's got 3 more corners to navigate as he heads around the right-handers of Ravazza, keeping really focused, those eyes staring at the screen as he comes around the final corner now. DRS open, of course, keeping it tight. Can he improve? Yes, he can. Up to P10. There's a bit of a shake of the head, though. Not necessarily too happy with that lap.
Yep, GB not too happy with that. Down in 10th, about 114.897. I said it would be around the cut-off zone, certainly in this race. We don't have JB Nevermove competing because of an issue on his side, so that is going to be 4 cars going out in this session. We know Meraki probably won't get out as well, so at least 3 cars will get dropped out that we know about. Both Williams look to be out in this session. We'll see if Meraki does stick true to his word, but Ben here out the lap, you can see very, very concentrating, and we've heard from Safi actually in the background that he has compromised 2 of his laps so far today, a 120-100, slowest of anyone who set a time and that is going to be so crucial that he gets through this sector cleanly, because I don't think he's got enough time to go into the pits if he did muck it up. And I think the little smirk was there, just getting through that crucial Variante outer corner, not on track limits. Now it's the final two left-handers, the Ravatsas, which again will absolutely destroy you. Missing the apex slightly on the final, I think he just had to back off the throttle a little bit, but he has improved through the first two sectors, and he jumps up, but it's only 30th position. And look at that from Ben. He is puzzled to why his pace is so slow.
Yeah, the Aussie expression going from puzzled to worried to confused. Team Radio coming in from Sasso. Anything under a 1:15 is safe, and I think he's absolutely right. That's what we discussed here in the comms box. It is Tom, though, who goes for a retirement on a 1:15 flat, just above the lap that Tim McMurdoch set. If you saw by the worry in the Aussie's eyes, I wouldn't be so calm if I were Tom right now.
No, I think Tom just realised he didn't have enough time to get out there again. 1 minute 30 seconds on the clock. It's a slow pit lane here at Imola, and it feels like you're absolutely crawling on. Dirk Chocolate out there on the outlap, but really realistically you have to be out now to actually be able to set a lap time. And Dirk Chocolate will be able to get one in. I think everyone who's out there on outlaps will be able to set a time here, but it will be it will be interesting to see who's going to be first to go over the line here. Razan Shai is in second position, and Alex Gillen is going to be the first one to set a time. But he is on a pair of intermediates, so he's not really going for anything here. He may be someone to keep an eye on because of the intermediate tyre challenge. But emphatic down in 15th on the bubble. It's going to be crucial for him to get a good lap time in, but it could see him drop his teammate out of the race. Dirk Chocolate in 14th. Tim McMurdoch in 13th, but emphatic in 15th here. The car's in the drop zone at the moment. Chesnoy, Meraki, that guy Vincent Rob. Meraki definitely not going to be improving. I think he's on another pair of interviews. He is. So it is going to be interesting here. Emphatic, what can he do on this lap?
I think he's got to do a do-or-die lap around here as we head up towards the top of the hill, rounding the right-hander down towards Aqua Minerale. Emphatic, everything's going through his mind right now. This lap has to be perfect to try and get into Q2. A lot of quick laps have been set, and he's got to gain at least half a second through this lap. It'll be interesting to see where he is as we cross the Sector 2 timing line. Dale, we're being told, has invalidated his last lap attempt. He will sit in P12 unless anybody else improves. And Emphatic now down towards the final few corners through the Ravatsas to go. And for the team from Italy in their home race, this is do or die now.
Absolutely emphatic coming around the final two corners. He was faster through the first sector, but lost a little bit of pace through the middle sector. Emphatic, can he do enough to improve? Nope, he's bailed out of it. Emphatic will be starting no higher than 16th. We also have Chesnoid Gaming out there on the lap, as someone has jumped out of the bottom there and jumped up into a good position. It was Rob who jumped up, so that's put Dirk Chocolate into the drop zone. Tim McMurdoch at risk. Can Chesnoid Gaming do anything to upset those? No, not quick enough. A 1:15.442 for him. So it's Dirk Chocolate v Tim McMurdoch. No, it's Dirk Chocolate v Variante Alta, and Variante Alta wins again. Dirk Chocolate has thrown away his chance at getting into Q2 here, and he'll be starting P16.
He will indeed. I think it was already on an invalidated lap by the sounds of things. And the Italian Hills winning again against the Rebels, as we saw, I believe, in a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, I think Dirk Chocolate. I've heard the whole story of Dirk Chocolate versus Variante Alta. Maybe it's a story back throughout the whole race. Maybe we'll forget that he invalidated. He just can't take a chicane. He just loves a straight line. We already seen him, seen Elway give a straight line that corner early on to try and get in and out earlier. But so that's disappointing for Dirk Chocolate. I think he seemed to have the pace. I think someone who's a little bit happy with their improvement is Tim McMurdoch. They actually jumped up, and it's Tom with a 1:15.046. The only little lucky dog out there actually to get through with a 1:15, and that was a slow time. I think he got caught out with the timing of his last run, just not enough time to get out again. And very, very, very lucky to get through. But sometimes you need a little bit of luck in a creator series, and that's what Tom has got. Dirk Chocolate out, Chesnoid Gaming out, Emphatic out, Meraki out, and JD Devilnove not taking part because of an issue that he faced. So he will be hopefully in there for a race. But I think what's crucial for JD Devilnove is the part of his issue is he didn't actually manage to actually set put a setup on. So that meant that he's basically set up loss. Which is very, very difficult. So that'll be really hard for him in the race. Starting from the back with no setup, that's going to be tricky. But it's Nuguera who is first in this race, and that first in this session, sorry, and that is a super quick time for him. I think Imola is just one of his cracked laps, clearly. Razin Shai in second, Alex Gillen in third, Safso in fourth, and then Sky Z in fifth. Crucially, about 3/10 gap between Sky Z and Razin Shai, which is crucial towards the championship story. Just confirmation of the final cars that have been knocked out. Tom just surviving, Dirk Chocolate 16th, Chesnoy Gaming in 17th, Emphatic 18th, 19th is Maraki, and 20th is JD Neville Noob. And yeah, a very interesting session. I'm surprised so many people went for those intermediate laps, knowing that it's difficult to get that point. There's usually a usual faces who win it, and also the fact that it's so easy to get knocked out in a session somewhere so hard on track limits like Imola. But a lot of people stayed on those inters for a long time, and do you think that cost a few of our drivers?
I think almost certainly the intermediate point, as much as it is a fun little game our drivers like to play, they've come into this track with 30 minutes practice. They haven't had the hours and hours that they quite frequently get week in, week out. So to come in there, try and risk it all for quite a low point in all things considered, it was a risky strategy. I think a lot of drivers maybe wishing they'd done what Alex Gillen had done, go out for that intermediate lap later on in the session. Track had developed, they got it through, and at least secure yourself into Q2 here.
Did anyone pay attention to Alex Gillen? Did he improve that intermediates time? I didn't. It's 1:18.1, so I think that is quicker than the time that Maraki set. So I think Alex Gillen has got that intermediate championship point. So it was a very much a different strategy. As you said, he went straight out on a pair of softs. Sapitron, what have you been hearing from our creators?
I mean, I've been hearing a variety of things. You've got a few drivers like Tom, for instance. He was on the line, that 15.0, but he also did a 15.0 on 20 kilograms of fuel in the practice session. So I heard him in the chat, well, to his chat, saying it looks worse than it is. So you've still got drivers here with a lot of confidence. Inversely, you've got drivers who are sort of already planning their next steps, like we have Maraki down in P19 and is out here in Q1, but is still looking confident for the race. So I think we've still got opportunity for some drivers to make some big statements, even if they've been knocked out or are a bit closer to the line than they otherwise would like.
Absolutely. So Q2 has started. We have cars out there at the moment, so we'll go over. And I believe the van who is first on track is indeed Mr. Dale. We have other cars, though, of course, Razin Shai. He's going to be going up the hill. Everyone else out there on outlaps at the moment. And what are you expecting, TK? What are you thinking for maybe a drop zone in this session?
Well, I think a lot of drivers will be hoping they don't end up in it. Dale's maybe played the smart move here, tried to get out before anybody else, get some clean air around this Imola circuit. In terms of timing, probably again around the 1:14.8, 1:14.7s in terms of lap time. We see they will improve. Hopefully the track has stayed fairly consistent. But I think clean air will be the key to getting some good laps in here.
Yeah, Mr. Dale just starting his lap and coming towards the first set of chicane, set of corners at Tamburello. Hard on the power out of turn 4 as they run towards the quick left-right-hander of Villeneuve, and then very quickly it comes up to the hairpin of Tosi. You could go late on the brakes for an overtake in the race, but you have to be very nailed through there because you want to maximise your output through that corner as you power up the hill towards the left-hander of Pilotella. Through the first sector, Mr. Dale got a 24.228, but we're hearing potential validation for Mr. Dale. So that's, oh, sorry, Dave Gaming actually got a validation. So Mr. Dale still on a good lap here and going through the middle section now towards Barrio Alta as he cuts over the chicane. How does he manage this one? It's decent enough within the white lines and maybe a little bit of pace left. I remember watching the 2004 qualifying session today. It was all about getting a lucky bounce through that corner. And Tim McMahon said this place is not for the pad friendly for sure. So Tim McMahon saying that Razin Shai may struggle on this track certainly, but Mr. Dale goes first, a 1:15.5.31, so not a great time from him. Sky Z, the car going quickest at the moment, but Safso is going to go to the line. What kind of time can he do? 1:14.892. Now I don't think that's going to be quick enough. He'll certainly need to improve. Sky Z quickest through the first two sectors. Now quickest through the final sector as well, a 25.028 through the final sectors and a 1:14.436 over all 346, sorry, I should say. Alex Gillen into second position, only about 0.02 of a second behind Sky Z there. So very, very close lap times between the two. And we do have a couple of more cars out there at the moment. That guy Vince and GB68 just starting their laps, going through the middle sectors at the moment, and indeed towards the second sector split now. GB68 at 25.734 through that second sector split, and GB68 will be powering down the hill here and just aiming to keep it within track limits. We've seen how crucial it is. It can ruin a lap you're going to go onto, it can ruin the lap that you're about to finish. And GB68, a man who got 2 second places for the first 2 rounds here in the Creator Series, is going to go over the line, split the timing beam, and he goes into 5th. And now very quickly behind that guy, Vince will follow over as well, and he goes into 3rd position. So a decent time there from that guy, Vince. And yeah, certainly into the top 3, but we do have more times out there. Tom out there on a lap at the moment in 15th position, and he is going to be on a pair of intermediates. So he's just, I don't understand going on into QT. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure Badgerman would be able to come in and school me about what those reasons are. But yeah, it's all about just saving a set of tyres. I think if you go over diesel tyres earlier on, but I'd just rather stay in and not risk DNFing my car. But Tom's going to come over the line. Of course, no points available for that. It's a 1:27.989, so it's not even a quick time on the intermediates. 3 more cars are about to go on an outlap here, though. Rob, Dave Gaming, and New Gamer.
Yeah, I don't know why Tom's headed out on a set of softs. Like you said, Badgerman will be the guy to be able to explain that all to us, potentially. Maybe just drivers finding their feet in a new session, getting the track temperature and getting a feel for how the circuit goes. Dave Gaming in the Haas, after having his previous lap invalidated, heads out for their first official timed lap. We'll be looking to keep this one within the white lines on the track, within the white car itself.
Yeah, so Dave Gaming, who's been really one of the revelations of the season, probably my rookie of the year actually, scored some very consistent points, never has been a threat of that drop zone. Of course, the 2 rookies this season, Nugera and Dave Gaming, I mean, if Nugera can have show off some of the form he showed through Q1 and practice, then he could certainly be someone who could snatch away the rookie of the season mantle very quickly with one good race weekend. But Dave Gaming been super impressive, has the German creator, and through Piratello he goes right now. Through the first sector he did a 24.196. So what that means is it's a decent time, but not quite near the absolute best. He's someone who may be at risk of being knocked out in this session. Now we come to this very tricky chicane, rides the inside curve nicely, doesn't invalidate his time. He has a car just ahead. Sasso team radio here saying slow in, fast out, just completely messing up the exit. So that's him clearly unhappy with his lap there, and he's down in 5th position. And Dave Gaming going a little bit wide there and may have invalidated out of that final corner. I think he did invalidate, but Rob out there on the lap as well. The current F2 standings leader is going down towards the Ravazzas at the end of this lap, and let's see where Rob can jump himself up to.
Yeah, hoping to try and keep it within track limits, do what his teammate couldn't do, and he has gone wide. It is invalidated for Rob, but Nogueira behind him has gone purple 1 and purple sector 2, rounding the final corner around the right-hander of 19 across the line. It's a 1:14.1 for the Alfa Romeo of Nogueira, and a fantastic lap there to go provisional pole here. Fantastic kind of outlap. No one saw that coming.
Absolutely, the Portuguese man is absolutely on fire. I came in with some notes talking about he just needs maybe one, half decent result to absolutely secure his chance of not being knocked out into the playoffs. But we have every reason to think that Nogueira could get a pole position here and could be competing for the win. But I tell you what, his teammate out there has snatched away that fastest first sector away from him. El Rey Giri, who led the race last week at the start after M. Skyzy and Razin Shai battled away, and then El Rey Giri picked up the pieces, is going to be pushing here and trying to pinch that lap time off his teammate. And the Alfa Romeos could be on for a very, very good day in the Italian homeland. And it is a 1 and 2 at the moment in this qualifying 2 session with 7 minutes left on the clock. That is great pace from the 2, and very, very interesting to see that both of those cars are doing well today.
Alfa Romeo absolutely cooking. Whatever they've got in their catering department, I want to try some of it, because Nogueira and El Rey Giri have really come out here to play. They are finding themselves 1 and 2. Not quite sure what's going on. Razin Chai, our current championship leader, finding himself down in P6 in this Q2 session. And M Sky Z actually in 3rd as well, although he is out for another hot lap, looking to make up probably about 2 tenths or a tenth and a half here on Nogueira.
Yeah, I mean, safety-wise, what we're looking for, maybe a 114.18, for 114.8, sorry, something like that is going to be the cutoff. In which case, we're looking like Razin Shai, everyone down from 6th position could be at risk here, but we've not seen times from Tiamat Marduk yet. We've not seen times from either of the Haas drivers as they invalidated their laps, and Peya also not yet gone out on any kind of lap. Ben just starting his lap. Now, he really struggled through practice, struggled through Q1, and it took a last-minute lap to get him away from the bubble in qualifying 1 and to safety. He ended up in 8th position in that first qualifying session, but Tiamat Marduk will be looking for something better out the doors yet. If he makes a mistake on this lap, he does have that one more joker that he could play later on, but realistically he does not want to burn through his tyres like he has already done in session. When he went over, he saw his pace, he looked absolutely puzzled, but again, just concentrating here is Tiamat Marduk, someone who's been really impressive since returning to the series from round 4 onwards in this Ferrari, through this double right-hander, just wait on traction until you can possibly stamp on it and fly up the hill now towards Variante Alta, and he's going to split the second timing beam, and just for sector 2 it's a 25.781 for him, so that's about 3 tenths away from the purple lap that was set by Negreira as we head down towards the final 2 corners here. And Tiamat Marduk, I think this is a decent lap time, but he still could be in the high 114s here, and that could be a drop zone position. So let's see, crossing the line here. He's already talking to his chat as he comes out the final corner, and it's only good enough for temp. Look at that, a 1:15.181, and that was slower than his qualifying 1 time. Just not having the confidence in that car, certainly in the qualifying session.
Yeah, a lot of pain in Ben's face as he crossed the line. He knew that wasn't going to be quick enough. And I was going to be on his feet on board now. Razin Shai, he's 10th look at up as he comes line to get P2 in the standings. Let's have a team radio for himself. I'm never off the pace that much. This is insane. He is indeed back on it now, and that just refers back to Tiamat Marduk's comment earlier, saying this track is definitely not pad friendly. But Razin Shai, I think, proving Ben wrong there.
Yeah, just really finding it hard to knock up that consistency, and so is Tiamat Marduk also really struggling on consistency here. We've seen him go a little bit quicker than he has, but yeah, really struggling. Tom is in the middle sector now. He is on a lap at the moment at 23.987 set through the first sector, and of course his only time coming so far is on a pair of intermediate tyres in this qualifying 2 sessions. So we know he can go a lot quicker than that. So through the final to the final sector he comes, and it's going to be a second sector time on a 25.639. He's gone full bug catcher mode, so we know he is in concentration. It's starting to close up. He's feeling the concentration just wear off a little bit. He's feeling a bit more confident through this final sector, but through that middle sector, he was really full concentration certainly. And now he's going to open up the DRS. He's going to split the timing beam, and he's going to put himself up only to 8. So he's not happy with that one. A 1:14.747. Is there people behind who could improve? I'm looking at Mr. Dale. I'm looking at Ben Daly. Certainly Rob could pull something out of the bag. We're not quite sure of his pace in F1 cars. I really don't think that 8th position is safe here.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be interesting. There's a big gap between Tom and Michi Hoyer, and Team Radio from Safso coming in saying hopefully got some mind games there with Ben. Interesting where Tiamat Marduk may be suffering to the mind games of Safso just ahead of him in P10.
Yep, so Alex has decided a 1:14.348 is quick enough for him. We'll expect all of the top 5 to retire, even maybe GP68 in the 1:14.3. Michi Hoyer seems to be safe. It seems to be a big chasm of pace, though, between 7th and 8th position, with about 3 tenths separating them. And Tom, certainly, I believe, the first car that's at risk. Dave Gaming could be the first person to come and inflict pain here in Imola on Tom. And as he comes to the line now, what kind of pace will it be for Dave Gaming? It's green for the first 2 sectors, opens up the DRS and up into H, so does knock Tom down, but only about half a temp quicker, and we could see that time still get pushed earlier. And yeah, so purple P8 is that we said P8. It's now P9, and it will be P10 and P11 unless he goes out there and sets a quicker time. And I don't think he's going to have time to do it again. He's kind of off kilter. So Tom in the pits, he's out of this one. He needs to hope that other cars can't improve. Safso, the man who won here back in season 2, the season 1 champion, currently down 11. He's in the drop zone. He's gone purple through the first sector. Is that going to be enough to do anything around this track and push himself out of the final corner, out of the final corners and out of the drop zone indeed? Comes close to the right-hand side, opens up the DRS, and into first. He is no longer at risk. Safso going through to the final part of qualifying, the top 10 shootout for sure, and we have more cars out there on laps now.
Tom's retired. That's a really interesting call as he immediately gets jumped by Persia as well. So accepting his fate, Tom is knocked out in Q2. I don't think he saw that one coming, did he?
No, he's Tom is in a very difficult position. He was always in a difficult position, and I can't believe he hyped himself up over that lap so much. But Safso thinks he could have gone quicker there, so he's found a bit of pace in that Aston Martin. Meanwhile, the Frenchman, the F2 championship leader, is going through the middle sector. He's set the personal best and first and second sector, and Tim Marduk has retired, so he is going to be out of this one. He will be starting no higher than 14th. It could be 15th position if Rob improves on his time and pulls himself out of the session. Paya also in the drop zone. Dave Gaming, his teammate, also on the bubble, and Rob doesn't improve. So Paya on the bubble in 10th position. I think he may be safe unless that guy Vince and Mr. Dale can pull something out of the bag here. And certainly if through the first sector, that guy Vince didn't improve, but he is finding 2 temps now, and that would be enough to knock Dave Gaming and Paya down. Paya into the drop zone. I don't know if Paya is currently on a lap as well at the moment. Mr. Dale is gone through, and I don't think he's on a lap at the moment. So Paya's not on a representative lap, so this could very much be curtains for the Frenchman. Around the final corner we go. That guy Vince opens up the DRS. It wasn't great for the first sector. It was better through the second sector, and it's enough to put him into P9. That's Paya down in 11th position, and I don't think Mr. Dale's going too quickly. No, he is. He's a 10th up through the first sectors. So Dave Gaming, the man at risk at the moment, he's on the bubble. Mr. Dale down in 14th. Can he do anything to salvage this qualifying session? Of course, someone who's in the bottom lot as well when it comes to the playoffs as well, so he needs every point he can, especially with the likes of Nogueira looking so cracked today. Now towards the final 2 corners, turns 17 and 18, Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2, the AlphaTauri that's only based 30 miles away from the Faenza-based team. Is he going to do enough to get into the top 10 here? He does. P9, Dave Gaming in the pits. He is out. Paya out. Tom out. Rob out. Tim Marduk out.
Some very big names there dropping out of this Q2 session. Tom with an over early exaggeration of appreciation for that lap, expecting maybe P7 or P8, and quite literally being brought back down to earth by a lot of our drivers as he finds himself knocked out in the bottom relegation zone of Q2. A really unfortunate drive for the Alpine, but fantastic laps by Dale at the last Dutch attempt to get himself up into P9 here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Safso is the person who's quickest in this session, and he found a lot of pace right at the end there. Nogueira is in second, Razin Shai in third, M-Sky-Z a little bit off the pace of Razin Shai in that one. But Mr. Dale is very, very happy that, come on, yes, he's saying. So the drop zone and the people out of Q2, importantly, is Dave Gaming, Paya, Tom, Rob, and surprisingly, the Aussie, Tim Marduk. He's going to have to work his way through the pack here. Tom quite often finds himself down there, so it won't be too much unfamiliar terrain for him, especially as he's so aggressive on restarts, on race starts. Sorry. So a very interesting session there. Sapitron, I want to hear from you. What have you been seeing through that qualifying 2 session?
I've been seeing drivers get very tense, really pulling out all the stops. I mean, we saw Sapso with a little bit of mind games, absolutely having the time of his life. You can see it on his face. But you've also got some other drivers who aren't as confident as they once were in Q1. Drivers like Vince really was focused about getting that time on the board and just getting himself scraped through into Q3. Dale was really passionate, as we saw from that team radio. He's absolutely loving life after getting that P9 from P14. So it's a big tale of winners and losers tonight. Some drivers are definitely starting to see that confidence come a little bit into question, but Q3 is going to be the big tell-all. Absolutely.
Q3 will be important. It's the top 10 shootout coming up very, very soon. CK, who is the person to beat today?
I think Razin Shai was originally going to be the person to beat, but M-Sky-Z showing pure pace around this track. Out of nowhere, though, I think it could be Nogueira being that person to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. So he did not do well last week, Nogueira. He's not showed this pace in the Creator Series at any point. But he is showing that he could be getting a surprise pole position, his first pole position in the Creator Series, if he can pull something out the bag here. Alex Gillen also in the mix here. Mr. Dale, he'll be looking towards just securing a good place in this session. But it's going to be Alex Gillen, the man who's won 11 times in the Creator Series. He's polled it once he hasn't polled it yet, though, this season in the Creator Series. Of course, our Season 2 champion. He's going to be the first person to set the pace. He's filling in for Tom97. Alex Gillen, 7th in the championship as a reserve driver. That is spectacular. He's always well in the mix, even though he's a reserve. He can't make every single race. And he is going to be the first person to set a lap time here. And very interested to see what the Alpine can do here.
Yeah, considering he missed the first 3 races as well, and he's a reserve, getting P7 here in the current championship standings is a phenomenal achievement for Mr. Gillen himself, as he does lead us out for our Q3 session. I think the Alfa Romeos will be one to look at, but Team Radio from Safso in the time being, I don't think we'll get top 5. Nogueira is so quick, and absolutely correct in that observation.
Yeah, Safso. But Safso was quick in that last session. He was either second or fastest of all. I can't quite remember. He seemed to pull out a lap time. He seemed to think that he could improve on that lap time as well, as the Alpine of Alex Gillen just worms his way through the first chicane and towards the chicane of Villeneuve. Left, right, flick it in onto the power. Don't run too wide and get onto the gravel there. Turn in at the just past the 50 marker, break at the 50 marker, a little dab, and now onto the throttle again as we head uphill towards the left-hander of turn 9, Piratella, and it is all about just throwing it in and trying to stay within track limits yet again, and again another couple of corners that are so difficult but so amazing if you get it nailed on and right, and that looks very good from Alex Gillen on the power through the second sector split he goes, and it is going to be a 25.454 for him, but I can say that Safso's gone quicker through the first sector and quicker through the second sector, so Safso out there on the lap. Maybe if he could hook up that final sector, someone who could be back right on form here in the Creator Series. And now around the final 2 corners, Alex Gillen goes to be the first man to set a lap time here in this final part of qualifying 3 at this Mystery Grand Prix, round 8, and it is 1:14.166, a very, very good time. Safso is going to go over the line now, and he beats it at 1:14.004, looking super, super pacey. Now Razin Shai, the man, second in the championship. Can he do anything to upset those 2 in front? That guy, Vince, has gone on the line. Only a 1:14.593 from him, but the Mercedes driver is who we're going to focus on. He keeps it within track limits, just riding that white line with that left tyre. Perfect positioning, and he crosses over the line, and only going to prefer 2 tenths away from the pace of Safso. Safso's probably surprised himself with the pace, given the state of those messages, but Nogueira down in 10th position at the moment, quickest through the first sector, but I tell you what, second sector, M Sky Z is quicker through it, so this is very much nip and tuck. M Sky Z could be going and improving at the moment. It could be indeed Nogueira who's going to go over the line first. Nogueira is going to have a chance at taking provisional pole position here. Crosses the line, is it enough? No, he just loses the pace. Now M Sky Z over the line into second position, and that is very, very important for his championship. Safso still leading though. Mr. Dale over the line, only good enough for 8th position, and it is Elray Giri, the only man out there on a lap at the moment, but I think he may have invalidated, so going for another lap. No, indeed, he's only just started, so GB68 and Elray Giri just a little bit off canter from the others, but fantastic there. Safso, provisional pole after the first run.
Yeah, Team Radio from Raz and Charlie coming in there saying, today's not the day, bro. Today's not the day. Really struggling on the pad. We heard it multiple times before. This is not a track for pads. Wheeled users probably experiencing a better level of, words are failing me. Sorry. Better control. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Around this Imola circuit and just being able to be more precise with their inputs. That is what's going to give them the upper edge here today.
Well, he absolutely stacked it into the wall in his Bathurst 12-hour challenge earlier on, so he's probably referring to that a little bit today, just not being able to get his head in the game. Of course, transitioning to the wheel at the moment, as Elray has invalidated his lap. He was looking on for a decent lap time there, actually. Certainly quick through the first sector, but yeah, he's going to do it all on his final corner, on his final run, sorry. And GB68, sorry, is now the only man out there on a lap at the moment, and he's way off canter with the others, and he's down in 9th position, not set a time yet, But let's see, can he pull something out the bag? I mean, his teammate is absolutely flying, but I can say he's 7/10 away through the first sector. So GB68 hasn't had the best sector here. As you can see, his cat will just bump around as he hits the curbs, and really illustrates how rough this track is when you do hit the curbs around here. You have to do it so many times, especially through those tight fiddly chicanes. But through the final 2 corners, I don't think this is going to be enough to challenge anywhere in the top 5, and it may be down 7th or 8th position for GB68. Indeed, only stays in 9th. He's way off the pace. A poor lap, all things said, for GB68. He does have time to go for another run. Elway Giri, the only man yet to set a time, but Elway Giri was looking quick on his lap. I think he's going to be mixing it certainly, but I think he is doing maybe a cool down and a rerun. I'm not quite sure he'll be coming to pits either. Maybe he validated through the final corner, just didn't opt to pit in the right time. But nearly everyone, well, no one on there out there on the laps at the moment, and we have had at least attempts by everyone now. And Sasso in first position. I mean, he won here in season 2. He came 4th here back in season 4. He has pace around here. He has pace, and Sasso is really convinced that other people are going to find pace here. But maybe Sasso should just start believing in himself.
Yeah, I think we're going back to that team radio. He's saying that he thinks he's the only one that's shown his pace at the moment. GB68, they're taking the esports line across the grass to try and get back into the pits after his first attempt pound him only in P9. I don't know if he's going to go for another one or straight into the pits, try and go out for another run rather quickly. And it is into the pits for the Aston Martin at the moment. The only driver out at the moment, MSkyZ.
Yeah, the man who is in second in the championship, MSkyZ. I was saying Razin Shai was second in the championship. He's first in the championship. I was just wrong. Don't believe what I say most of the time. But MSkyZ second in the championship. There we are, the live standings. So to take it out of it, Razin Shai first with 104 points. MSkyZ is second with 102 points. Tiamat Marduk fourth with 83 points. GB68 with fifth, and Tom97 third, but not racing today. So very much could be falling out of sync with these two, with only 2 rounds available after this one. But this is it. This is crunch time for the Mystery Grand Prix qualifying. We didn't know we were going to be racing in Imola 2 hours ago. It was picked live on stream, and the creators have had to adapt and get into the right headspace to take on this challenging track that is 4.9 kilometers long. And in 4.9 kilometers time, just over, we will find out if MSkyZ has done enough to set that qualifying pole time. He is taking it very, very slowly on his outlap with 3 minutes to go on the session. He has gone very, very early here, so he doesn't want to get caught out by traffic. Someone else who's got early is Razin Shai. I think he's just leaving the pits. But it means we can really check out MSkyZ's lap and see it through all of it and just take it in. Let's take in what MSkyZ can do here.
Yeah, indeed, as he heads down towards, effectively turns 2 and 3 through the Tamarello chicane. Beautiful, using all of the track available to him there, making sure the car doesn't get too unsettled. The run down now towards Villeneuve, turns 5 and 6. Again, using all of the track, beautiful precision there by the McLaren driver around the chicane, around the hairpin rather, of Tosa, and up the hill he begins to climb towards turn 8 and Piratella, that left-hander down towards Aqua Minerale. And so far, looking so good for the McLaren here, Gareth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's decent through the first sector. It wasn't absolutely fastest, but it was okay for him. But it was the second sector where he absolutely flied on his previous lap. And I think he's set another very quick lap, indeed improving on his middle sector, but very scruffy there through the Variante Alta. That will cost him a couple of attempts and all will cost him pace all the way down the hill as he gets on the throttle and now hits these 2 left-handers that conclude this fabulous lap. And it's certainly one for qualifying, a track I absolutely love to hot lap. Hugs the wall on the right-hand side as much as possible. And there we are, a 1:13.936. He found pace and he's gone into provisional pole, but Razin Shai is out there on a lap at the moment. No, he's not. He's backed out of whatever he's done this one, so he's abandoned. So the nerves getting to Razin Shai, the man first in the championship at the moment. GB68 will be the first of the cars currently on the outlap to set their second time lap, and he needs to find a lot more. And I tell you what, just while we have a little bit of time, if you're ever interested about how it looks behind the scenes for the Creator Series, you can go over to twitch.tv/a-space-ghost, all one word, and can you see a stream with our producer that is going to be showing you all of the inner gubbins of the Creator Series. They're absolutely fascinating. Go over and give him a follow as well. Producer Rob does a fantastic job. But GB60 out there is saying he could see more 113s, is what he's saying. So 113 seconds there. So we only have MSkyZ in that stack at the moment. And GB68 through the first sector has improved by 0.6 of a second. So this is a good lap. He hasn't made a mistake through the first sector.
Yeah, Dave Gaming, I think, just rejoining the session there as well as he looks towards the race. But GB down towards Aqua Minerale currently finds himself last out of the drivers who've set a lap up now towards turns 14 and 15, the last chicane on this track. He's not necessarily improving that well. It's an all right middle sector of 25.5 for GB68 as he comes down towards Ravazza now. But I don't think it's going to be anything to write home about.
Absolutely, GB68. Maybe he's looking for kind of mid-pack at the moment in this final qualifying session. It has ticked down to 0, so everyone is on their final laps. GB68 currently a 1:15.958, improves to a 1:14.352. That's only good enough for 6th. He's the first person to set a lap time. Alex Gillen has gone quick through the first and second sectors, and he has gone quick through the final sector as well, and goes into first position. Safso, can he do anything to apply? No, he doesn't improve on his lap. The man on provisional pole has been knocked down, and now it's just the likes of Nogueira who could knock out Alex Gillen. Nogueira in 5th position, going over the line. Has he done enough to knock him down? No, Nogueira not there, and it certainly looks like Alex Gillen has took pole position for the first time in Season 5 as Mr. Dale and El Aguirre are out there. El Aguirre, the only man to displace him, but no, he's down in 5th position, not quite cracking into the 113s. I wonder what he could have done if he found the pace on that first lap. And Mr. Dale out there, I think he only got into 10th position, no, into 7th position, so he did improve his lap time a little bit, but it's Alex Gillen taking his first pole of the season.
Yeah, fantastic drive there from Alex Gillen, really showing up kind of out of nowhere. One of 3 drivers to get themselves into the 113s there, correcting the prediction there by GB, saying he expected more drivers to break that 113 barrier. The bottom 6, of course, not managing to find time within those, and yeah, still fantastic. But Alex Gillen on pole, MSkyZ in 2nd place, and Razan Chai finds himself in 3rd. Safso P4, El Reguri P5, Michi Hoya P6. Mr. Dale finds himself jumping up into P7 at the death, and then Nogueira, GB68 and Dat Guy Vince round out your top 10 from this qualifying session.
Wow, well, fantastic pace. Only 3 drivers, actually cracking into the 113s, and someone like Safso, I mean, he said it on the team radio, other people haven't showed their true pace, and I didn't believe him. I thought, maybe he had the confidence to actually go. He was kind of masking a little bit because we saw him very loud and vocal on the team radio, but no, down in 4th position. Provisional pole did not work out for him on those first runs, and just not being able to improve. In fact, only finding a little bit of time through the first sector, but losing it through the second and third sectors for him. It's Alex Gillen who takes the plaudits, so a lap time. I don't think I'd ever actually thought that he could take pole position here, which is a bit foolish of me to write off someone with such a varied and extensive skill set of Alex Gillen.
Well, I think he'll be very happy to get his first pole position in Season 5 here in the Creator Series. And yeah, fantastic drive by himself. Just to start the race from the start. 63 laps to come, though, of course. Anything could happen.
Yeah, well, Sapitron, you've been keeping an idea of what's been going on through that qualifying sessions, providing us all that juicy information on the team radios as well. What's your kind of sappy eye view of qualifying so far?
I'm going to coin that one, sappy eye view. I know we saw a lot of drivers who definitely wanted to get a bit more pace. I have it on good word that Safso actually could have done a 13.9, felt he could have done it, but just made a couple of mistakes in the last sector that saw him drop the speed in some areas. Dale was another one who was really pushing, didn't quite get what he was looking for, but they're still in very good set, and the discussion majorly evolved into one of strategy, because if we remember the tyre allocations, some drivers going for, say, the softer allocation, whereas some went for the balance. That is affecting their choices right now. There's discussions of medium, medium, hard. There's discussions of medium, medium, soft, and trying to push the strategy. So I'm more curious as to how they're going to balance the tyre compounds, how conservative we're going to see.
Yeah, certainly those are two good race strategies that have will very much be going on. But it's Creative Series, so we can't go too pure on race strategy because I'm sure we're going to see some safety cars certainly throughout the race. I hope I haven't jinxed it and it's a complete boring race, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it's going to be a good one, and I'm actually really excited for it, to be honest, because it's always a bit of variation and differences in skill. Certainly when it comes to the Mystery Grand Prix, people haven't been able to crack into it and get that consistency down. We've seen that people can be quick over one lap, but it's so different over 63 laps. TK, we're a long way from home, but if we get to the final laps, who are you thinking is going to be in contention?
I think Safso, I think is going to be one of those drivers that might sneak up there. We saw he had pace. He's aware of what other drivers are doing around him, so he's quite aware of his surroundings on track necessarily in terms of pace as well. I think Alex Gillen's not one to be written off. He knows he's got pace. He's starting from the front. If he can kind of pull away on a softer tyre and gain a gap to some guys behind him, that could secure him the win. But who knows what could happen if a safety car does come out, causing carnage amongst the grid.
Yeah, it's a track where I feel like the safety car prediction for me is quite high. It's quite a challenging track, very easy to stack it into a wall as well on the exits of the Tamborello chicane and through Villeneuve, even through Variante Alta, very easily to get that one badly wrong. And the final chicane, the final corner as well, if you go off there, lose a front wing, it often causes a safety car in the game. So we are a few moments away, and weather-wise, we haven't had any rain predicted so far through qualifying and the first sector, and it's an absolutely blue sky day in Imola, so I don't think we're going to have any for the race start. In fact, we won't have any for the race start, but yeah, we're quite close to getting a formation lap ready. Sapitron, who are you going to pick?
Oh, that's a tough one, but if I had to put a pin on anyone, it's going to be Skyzy. Just because it's going to be a tough one for him, but he's been quietly in there, quietly putting in the laps, and has got himself a really good starting spot. So if he can just keep the consistency up and bring it home, he's going to be in contention for sure.
Excellent. Well, I tell you what, we'll have a look at what tyres our drivers are on, and the top four have all opted for that medium tyre, but look at that, Punchy from Elway Giri. He's going to go on a pair of softs here and try to be quick out of the gun here. Very aggressive strategy, usually saving softs towards the end of the laps. And it's not even a possible race strategy, according to the little graphic there, but it's certainly something that Elway Giri is going for. Michi Hoyer on a pair of hards. He's looking to run long into this one. GB68 also following that thought, and Dirk Chocolate 2 on a pair of hards here. So they're looking to run long. And we're very close to the start of this race. Are you excited for this one now, TK?
I'm absolutely hyped. It's a fantastic qualifying session. We saw a lot of interesting tactics going on in practice as well. Some drivers trying to get in other drivers' heads during that qualifying session. Tiamat Marduk falling victim to that in Q2. So I wonder how much of that hijinks we will see in this race. Long race ahead though, and a very long pit lane. So tyre strategies will be key for our drivers and avoiding any penalties around a very industrious track, shall I say.
Yeah, well, we'll have 63 laps coming up very shortly. Remember, the standings are Razin Shai has 104 points, N Sky Z has 102 points, only 2 points splitting the top two. Tom 97 in third has 95 points. He's not here today. Tiamat Marduk 83 points, but won't be racing next time. And GB68 is in fifth with 82 points. So he's someone who's got to salvage some kind of result today to remain in contention for this championship battle. Remember, the Creator Series point system below are slightly different, so just keep those in mind throughout the race. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting on the run down to turn one, and I believe it is going to be a difficult lights out angle as well, so we'll have to just deal with that. Remember, it's Alex Gillen on pole, M Sky Z in second position, Razin Shai in third, and Safso in fourth position. And we can have picture-in-picture help us a little bit along the way as well, as all the cars have got into position and the revs come up. It's going to be 5 lights on the board. And when they go out, the creators will go racing in Imola for the Mystery Grand Prix, and it looks to be a decent start from Razin Shai and the McLaren there of MSkyZ looking to challenge on Alex Gillen around the outside, but Alex Gillen has maintained that position, and Alex Gillen is still first. El Giri battling with Michi Hoya for 5th position, but it's still the same through the top 6. Nogueira actually has lost a few positions there. All in all, Mr. Dale has gained a position as well. So decent there. Alex Gillen still leading this race at the start here.
Yeah, double jump up in positions there for the Alfa Romeos. El Riguri and Nogueira both making up positions as they challenge with Safso and Michi Hoya respectively. Tom also up a few positions further back, as is Meraki getting past Infratic.
Yep, so Alex Gillen still leading this one, and there's been a few changes for position in the background, but things are very much settled back into single file very quickly here. So difficult to run too wide throughout it, but it's 2 positions gained through Nogueira and 2 positions gained for Tom, 3 gained for Meraki from the back of the grid. So he's looking racy to get quickly, and Chesnoy has lost a few positions as well, so that's not good. Dirk Chocolate also lost a few positions through that mid-sector there. So as we go on to lap 2, Alex Gillen leads the way. MSkyZ 4 tenths behind, Razin Shai 3 tenths behind. El Giri just going for an overtake here as we go onto the straight. I think Razin Shai had a bit of a sloppy exit out at the final corner, and El Giri now in 3rd position, jumping his way up. Remember, he's on the soft tyres. Alex Gillen and MSkyZ are on the medium tyres, so El Giri has to make position straight away. And will he think about a move straight away into Villeneuve? It's not going to be close enough, but maybe a lunge into the left-hand hairpin of Tosa. He looks for it, maybe just sticks behind, but El Giri gaining position from Razin Shai there as they go on to lap 2.
Yeah, he takes the advantage. Razin Shai getting a little bit wobbly out the final corner. Maybe the pad just coming into consistency issues with Razin and dropping down to P4.
Yeah, Peya in a battle with Tom there. I think he's lost out to Tom. And also Tom into 12th position. Rob just behind his French compatriot, looking to maybe pounce on the McLaren driver. But Tom right behind GB68. He's had a better run out of Akmaru Ali. It's going to be dangerous to go around the outside there, and he knows it, allowing GB68 just to cut in and open up. But GB68 struggling on those hard tyres. Those hard tyres will be painful at the start, and he is going to be really under pressure here from Tom as they head down into turn 1. Alex Gillen has built a 1-second lead over MSkyZ, and that is crucial because DRS is going to be active from the end of this lap. El Giri only 4 tenths behind, but Tom right on the back of GB68. Softs versus hards. Tom is going to look to gain a position. He's going to go up the inside towards Tamburello, and he gets the move done before the braking zone.
Yeah, GB was a massive sitting duck there on those harder tyre, not being able to warm them up as effectively as Tom has. He's been making up positions left, right and centre on these opening laps, and that's really crucial for the Alpine on the softer tyre. They won't last as long, but they will have an amazing amount of grip compared to the other tyres.
Yep, so Alex Gillen on those mediums, he just wants MSkyZ to be able to keep El Giri behind for as long as possible and keep that gap over a second. But I think MSkyZ is expunging a little bit of battery here to try and get back into that DRS window, and that would help him defend from El Giri so much. But it's really tit for tat on that 1 second limit. The activation zone, with the detection zone, sorry, will be on the rundown towards this first Ravazza, and that is going to be out of it. So El Giri is not going to have DRS over MSkyZ. MSkyZ won't have DRS, but look at that, El Giri making a mistake on that lap, meaning Razin Shai is actually closer and in a better position to pounce. But watch this DRS open and watch this gap come down significantly to MSkyZ, and will he even be close enough for a lunge into turn 1? The chunks are coming off 10th by 10th, and he is so close as they come to turn 1, but not quite close enough. If he can be within 5 tenths on the straight, he will be able to go for a move into turn 1.
MSkyZ, yeah, exactly. Making a loss there on the opening laps. Alex Gillen having burned a lot of ERS to try and pull away, making a tactical advantage. Rob getting past GB86, as is Tia McWater getting past GB68 rather, further back. And making those hard tyres work is the Aston Martin now.
I'm personally a big fan of GB86 myself, so prefer much better to GB68, better content overall. But GB68 really suffering on those hards, and I think GB86 would have never gone on a hard pair of tyres at the start here, because he's lost so much ground. So GB68 just really, really struggling here.
Indeed, he is. There's a lot of numbers being thrown at you when you're doing commentary around here. But Mr. Dale JE on board with him now as he tries to make a move on Michi Hoyer as they head into the Variante Alta chicane down towards Rafaza for the 4th time on this Grand Prix. The Mercedes looking to lack a little bit. He's got a bit of a train behind him. That guy Vince and Tom all getting involved in this party as well.
Yeah, Mr. Dale right behind Michi Hoyer. Michi Hoyer, who got a podium here last time we raced at Imola back in season 4, is going to be under pressure. He's not going to have DRS in front, but there's a move, there's a change position. Elway Geary's got a position up front, and Mr. Dale goes through. That guy Vince goes through, and it is going to be so difficult. If you lose DRS here, it is so difficult. But look at that, the Alfa Romeo, the man with softs on at the moment, the Spaniard Elway Geary up into 2nd position. And now he's going to close down on Alex Gillen. Let's see what kind of pressure he can put on him. And it's a very good thing that he's on the pair of softs, because that 2nd gap is going to be so difficult. But look at this. Elway Geary, sorry, that guy Vince and Tom are really being pushed here. And I think it's Tom who is trying to be pushing. No, it's Mr. Dale, sorry, on the inside as they went up to the Piratella corner at the top of the hill. And yeah, that sort of frame rate of the Elway Geary in the corner is very laggy. So I don't know what that's about, but Tom is in 10th position and just waiting behind this battle of that guy Vince and Mr. Dale.
Yeah, it's almost like Noah's Ark as they head through this Imola circuit. They're going 2 by 2 through almost every corner. Tom trying to make positions early on the softer tyre, but Mr. Dale and that guy Vince having an amazing battle to maintain 8th and 9th respectively in this grid.
Yeah. So Elway Geary is in DRS of Alex Gillen straight away, using that pace advantage from those soft tyres to close down that lead. And we know Alex Gillen has spent quite a bit of battery to try and build that lead. And look, it's going to come down to about 3 tenths a gap. And next lap, I think Alex Gillen is going to be under serious pressure from the Spaniard as he looks to lead a Grand Prix for the 2nd time in 2 weeks.
Indeed, Alex Gillen having a fantastic start, but the tyres really not coming to help him. The soft tyres of Elway Geary really coming into their own, and I think, like you said, Alex Gillen could be a sitting duck down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, it could certainly be a sitting duck indeed as they come towards the final, well, the middle sector at the moment, and I wonder if Alex Gillen will have any kind of defence to it. He's on those medium tyres, he's lacking battery, but I tell you what, who will be happy about this. Sky Z has been brought back into contention by Elway Geary. Elway Geary wasn't able to disappear down the road and break that 2nd gap himself, so that means that the pack is all back together, and everyone down to 6th position is in DRS, with Dave Gaming just struggling off the back of it. So now, towards the final corner they go, the gap being 6 tenths, I think that could be close enough to mount a challenge. It's going to be very tight as they head towards the 1st corner of Tamburello, the gap being 4 tenths at the moment. And if we ride on board with him a little bit, we'll be able to see how much he's hounding that car. 2 tenths is the gap right behind, but Sky Z also right behind. But Alex Gillen will be kind of maybe ruined spending that battery so early to break that gap, given how quickly Elway Geary has been able to close it down.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can to try and hold on within each corner that precedes his car. But Elway Geary through every single corner, just nibbling away at that time gap between himself and the Alpine in front. He has to be careful. Sky Z not too far away behind him, and he's kind of stuck in a do I defend, do I attack kind of battle within his mind here. And I think his focus is completely on the driver in front.
So it is really important for Alex Gillen to be able to pull away through this mid part of the sectors, because if he can pull about a 6 tenth gap, a 7 tenth gap, then Elway Geary isn't going to be close enough to pounce down to turn 1. But any lower than that, then he's going to find it very difficult. Now Elway Geary only 5 tenths away here. We'll see what the pace is as they come out the final corner. But Alex Gillen is saying, need to get that gap up again to Sky Z. So he's not focused on Elway Geary. He's really focusing on that gap to Sky Z, knowing that Elway Geary is on the soft tyres. But yeah, closing down 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths is a gap. I just think he's not going to be quite close enough to make that move.
Yeah, I think he's got to be within that half a second sort of gap to Alex in front of him. There's only 1 DRS straight on this Imola circuit, so really crucial to be within it as they head down the start-finish straight here. Razin Chai and Safso all trying to get involved in this 5-car battle for the lead at the moment. I think Nogueira in the background also trying to sneak into this train here.
Yeah, Raz and Shai just tucking it behind, but you know, if you've got DRS and the car in front has DRS, you've got to be even closer. You've probably got to spend a bit of battery and hope that your wings are a bit lower than the others. But GB6 saying we are burning fuel as well, by the way, so it's going to be fuel critical around here, especially if we don't have any safety cars, and we have had no safety cars so far on lap 8 of this Grand Prix. Alex Gillen leads, El Rey Giri in second after gaining 3 positions from the start. M-Sky-Z in first, lost a position. Razin Shai lost a position. Sasso lost a position as well. Nogueira actually gaining 2 positions on the first lap here, on the first few laps, sorry, and getting into good position. But again, El Rey Giri just not quite close enough. He needs to find a bit of time out the final corner to close down that gap and take the lead. But maybe it's just more beneficial to stick in the draft here and try to have him elongate the life of these softs for as long as possible. Closing and closing. It feels like the overspeed is incredible, and with 2 more attempts, he'd definitely be close enough to make that overtake, but just not quite there, and he has to go back out with 3 tenths of gap as they leave Tamburello to the corner and not close enough to move through the first sector. So interesting stuff here in the initial stages of this Grand Prix.
Indeed, I think El Rey Giri, he's experienced, he knows this is a long race, he wants to try and extend those soft tyres as long as he can. I mean, at the moment, Alex Gillen is giving him free pace down that start-finish straight. I think he almost backed out early heading into Tamburello, and maybe smart of the Alfa Romeo driver just to do so. He's not under pressure from M-Sky-Z or Razin Chai behind him, and at the moment, he's got to focus on his own race. He can just go long on these tyres, maybe pit a little bit later than some of the other drivers, and jump them when it comes to that. But continuing to head down towards the Ravazza chicane now, Alex Gillen, I don't think will be under pressure once again down this start-finish straight. M-Sky-Z a little bit closer though to El Rey Giri. I wonder if ERS will begin to be burned. But Gareth, Alex really not under pressure here. The gap is increasing.
Yeah, through Variante Alto, really just struggling, isn't he, El Rey Giri? And I think that's the soft tyres starting to just lose the absolute best of themselves. I think 18 laps or so they will be a very good race tyre for. After that, they start to struggle, but you can close down and keep within that toe lap after lap, and we just have a bit of a DRS train situation, and we need something in the train to come uncoupled and to change this, because it's very much stalemate at the moment as we go through these first laps, and people don't want to push each other and make a silly mistake and ruin their race. As we do see a yellow flag out there, and Mr. Dale gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Devil knew the only other driver to have that.
Yeah, yellow flags being thrown in Sector 1. That's Chesnoid Gaming, who's had a bit of a spin around there, not affecting many other drivers, but he has dropped down about 10 seconds clear of Dirk Chocolate, and I think that could be, unless we see a safety car, pretty much his race done.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, it's been very, very aggressive from the first few laps for El Rey Giri, but he's just now settling down. Tom is just behind that guy, Vince. 4 attempts is the gap. We'll see if he can get by, but if these cars just can't, if they can just be a bit closer, indeed, then they'll be able to make that overtake. But El Rey Giri, I just feel like his pace has gone from the tyres. That offset he had over Alex Gillen isn't there. He's not able to get closer through the middle sector. He needs a mistake from Alex Gillen to be within 5 tenths of the car in front to be able to be there. And I'm wondering if we have anything from Sapitron that we can go over to during this moment in the race.
Yep, and in fact, as a matter of fact, I do have something right in the nick of time. We've got a bit of a play-by-play as to what happened with Chesnoid here. So, a little bit crunchy because it's literally hot off the presses, but you can see, first corner, he's trying to make a move on Dirk. And then, he gets to the apex, realises he is going to wash wide. Dirk's going to be closing him in there because he's trying to get around the corner as well. And then a bit of contact as they go into each other. And that is what caused the spin and the local yellow on Sector 1.
Right, okay. So that's lap time. So that was lap time. That was quite interesting. That's what caused that yellow. Is there anything for this race start, Sappy?
We have also got a couple of other bits, but we've got, for instance, GB68. You can see just the impact that the hards have been having on his pace. So he gets passed by Meraki, gets passed by Peya, both on better compounds. Tries to fight against Peya through the first couple of corners, but doesn't get it. That's also going to be Rob hopping through with Ben, making it 4 positions dropped in the space of 3 corners. And then we also have, on top of that, just a bit of insight on what happened on the first corner, or in the first lap, I should say. That was Vince. The reason he dropped, he just overextended on the penultimate corner, so he's had a little bit of a wobble. But with the way
Oh,
things
no.
are now, they look to be doing just fine.
Thank you very much, our man on the ground. Sapitron, please get the clips to him. But yeah, that guy Vince has been battling with Tom while that was happening. Also, Razin Shai just lost a little bit of time to the 3 cars in front, but it managed to worm its way back into this one. El Giri looking super close to Alex Gillen. I don't think I've seen him within 4 attempts for a little while, but actually through Akamanuale and Variante Alta, this is where we see lap after lap Alex Gillen just pulling an advantage as the grip starts to go for El Giri. That's 7 attempts a gap. Now El Giri really needs to concentrate on remaining within that DRS window, because as soon as he slips out of that DRS window, then Emskyz needs to go past immediately, because he will start to lose that window to Alex Gillen as well. So this is a very crucial and interesting part of the race. Remember, Alex Gillen on mediums, Emskyz, Razin Shai, Sasso, all on the medium tyres. There's El Giri who took the gamble and went aggressive on a soft tyre tyre. Now, if a safety car was to come over the next couple of laps, that would be almost perfect timing for El Giri. But Emskyz, it looks like he can make a move. El Giri flashing down towards turn 1, and it is very close, pushes him wide, and he's off. Emskyz, second in the championship, has to cut through the gravel there, and he loses a heck of time. El Giri heavy in his defence, but fair.
Yeah, I don't quite know how he managed to keep that car out of the barrier, pushed wide by El Giri onto the grass. And of course, there's no chance that he's stopping that car with 2 wheels on the grass, and very, very fortunate to actually keep it in one piece. He's still down in P5, only a second and a half off Safso, so there is an opportunity for a recovery here by the McLaren driver.
Yeah, so Emskyz 1-1 into his name, but didn't seem to get any kind of penalty for cutting the chicane, which was all right. But the big penalty for him is that he's over a second away from Safso, so he's out of this DRS train, as El Giri has also lost pace to Alex Gillen. So we talked about how crucial it was for El Giri to stay on those tyres, and you saw Emskyz, it was do or doom to go by him, and he certainly put himself in a bad position. Emskyz can probably count himself lucky that he's only in 5th, but Razin Shai is surely going to have the impetus to attack here, and it's going to be even simpler to that. El Giri has pitted, so he is going to be going through the pits here, and we'll see where he comes out and what kind of strategy that plays out here, whether others decide to blink. But his pace was certainly going off, and these mediums still looking good in comparison to one another. Razin Shai up into 2nd, Safso into 3rd, and Emskyz in 4th, but lost a further 5 attempts on that previous lap. A long pit lane here. El Giri falling well down the order, and is now down into 18th position, could be down into 19th position before all is said and done, and he would have hoped for a safety car, certainly. I think he's going to pull out just in front of Dirk Chocolate there, so he maintains 18th position. So we're going to go over to a replay of that moment we saw between Emskyz and El Giri.
Let's go Congo, ça va ou quoi? T'as donné quoi le résultat?
Sapitron, talk us through it.
And you can see just here, he's going to be chasing down for the move on El Giri. He has the pace, he has the outside, it just doesn't fully get the space afforded. Skates across the curb and then has to take to the infield across the chicane. No warning, because the contact was made beforehand, but there you go, that's what happened to him. Did recover well, but certainly going to be a hit to the flow.
Yeah, very difficult for Emskyz. He's still 1.6 seconds adrift of Razin Shai and Safso. Razin Shai 1.4 seconds to adrift of Alex Gillen. Alex Gillen has earned that breathing room now, and he can look to control the race once again with the wild card of El Giri out of it. But look at this, Tom very close to the back of that guy Vincent. Tom not struggling on these softs and able to make that position. So interesting that Tom hasn't burnt those rubbers up too much, but is flashing that car, so really struggling on battery. Used a big chunk of it there to burn past that guy Vince for 6th position.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tom in, or not just him, but a lot of the other softer runners into the pits to get those tyres off. He does get a 3-second penalty, runs wide out of, I believe that was Villeneuve, and that definitely will be the cue for him to come and get some fresh tyres on. The grip may be starting to fall away quicker than he was expecting. He got the move done, of course, on Vince, but then the track limits warnings can come thick and fast for him, and yeah, not great for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, certainly maybe a victim of those soft tyres going off the pace here, but Nishinoya on the hards, remember, one of 3 drivers that actually picked the hards at a start, the others being GB68 and Dirk Chocolate, is looking looking quite pretty in this train, actually. He's been able to keep himself in it, been able to warm up those tyres. And look at that, Razin Shai has just got himself back into that DRS window. So the championship leader closing down on the most victory-laden driver in the Creator Series history. 11 wins for Alex Gillen. It's 5 wins to Razin Shai's name, but none so far this season. Razin Shai looking and closing down on Alex Gillen and looking to take the fight to him. So this is exciting stuff from Razin Shai. I think he spent a bit of battery to get there.
Indeed, on board. If we can watch on board with Safso, I bet he would have a fantastic view of this upcoming battle. There we go then. Alex Gillon has got a world to defend from the very fast Mercedes behind him of Razin Shai. Razin not necessarily being the most... It's not being a pad track indeed. He's not necessarily comfortable round here, and Alex Gillen has been showing that he can put pedal to the metal when push comes to shove around this similar track.
Yeah, so, well, we could breathe just a little bit, but I think we are going to have more moves coming out now. Alex Gillen did a wonderful job lap after lap as Rob gets a penalty. I think we're going to see a few more penalties today. This is very much a race that can be decided on penalties, and I'll give you a warning recap later on as they come in thick and fast. But Alex Gillen in first, second is Razin Shai, third is Safso, and this is live standings. If it was to finish how it was right now, Razin Shai would extend that lead to 6 points. But yeah, I think Alex Gillen would also gain some points and go up into 4th position, pushing GB68 out of the top 5. But a long way to go. Lap 17 out of 63 here, and Razin Shai closing down on Alex Gillen. But we saw this yet again. Alex Gillen just seeming to have the legs on the drivers behind to just keep them at bay. They need to be within 5 tenths to really mount a challenge down into turn 1.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about the drivers behind him at the moment. He's racing his own race. Razin is the driver that has to get past. I wonder if we'll see a dive down into Tosa. He potentially was close enough, but deciding not to do it this time around. They head up the hill. He has a good traction, keeping within the Alpine's range. And maybe just trying to stay within that 1 second, get the DRS. He's under that half-second barrier that we discussed previously. We obviously know Razin being quite previously... He's quite an experienced racer, so he knows when to go for a move, when it is, when it isn't on. And as we just see, Tim McMurdoch coming out of the pits in last place.
Yeah, so Tim McMurdoch pitting off of a pair of medium tyres and actually being an aggressive switch to soft. Oh, was a big moment from Chesnoid Gaming in front of him. That would have sent a few heart palpitations through the Aussie man. But yeah, he is going to be just focusing on that gap now. 8 seconds to Dirk Chocolate. He'll close that down, I'm sure, over the next few laps. But Razin Shai is right behind Alex Gillen, and Safso is second off of the race leader Alex Gillen, so still within this DRS window. But Razin Shai closing down, and look at the overspeed here, just not quite close enough. It'll be about a 10th away, right under the gearbox of that Alpine. But Alex Gillen just being able to do a good job there as someone comes into the pits. I'm not quite sure who that was. So
Yeah.
Tom into this.
Indeed he is. On to a fresh set of the medium tyre. I believe Meraki into the pits as well, just behind him. And Razin Shai, Safso and Alex Gillen still battling for this lead. This could allow MSkyZ to try and catch up with them. He's only about 2 seconds off this battle at the moment.
Absolutely. So it's very, very interesting now. This is a very critical stage. But look at that. MSkyZ, time penalty. Things are stacking against him here so far. He's the only man in the top 6 to have hit 3 warnings, and this is a big thing. If you can't practice in the Creator Series and you come to a track like this, it's track limits that a lot of drivers would have focused on if they had that prep time, but they don't have it. So we saw drivers struggle through the qualifying sessions, getting invalidations, not being able to get their head in the game, but now it's pushing to 7 or 8 temps, not 10 temps, which some drivers are doing out there. MSkyZ, of course, a little bit of drift because that instant with El Rey Giri, maybe his impatience got to him and it cost him a little bit there. But look, Razin Shai looks to be closer to Alex Gillen, and Alex Gillen thinking about making a defence. Does Razin Shai go for a move? No, just tucks underneath the rear wing of Alex Gillen here and recognises that if he battles with Alex, it's going to allow MSkyZ back into the train.
Yeah, Safso getting really close to the rear gearbox of Razin Shai there as they headed through Tamarello into Villeneuve then. And Safso may be lining up a move on the 2 drivers. He might look to opportunity to jump both of them. Further back, Michi Hoyer having to defend from Dave Gaming and Dale as well. Michi Hoyer, though, penalty-free. Both the drivers behind him on at least 1 time penalty.
Yep, so team radio here from Emphatic saying, I get him, then he just gets me again in the straight. So Emphatic battling with Rob for 10th position, and those two are tic-tac between each other, trading that position lap after lap. And let's see if Rob can do anything on this lap to get by Emphatic. I think these two just working somewhat well together. Maybe Rob just behind in the DRS closing down, but just not being able to do enough to pass lap after lap. So it's interesting between this one, but Emphatic very much doing well to get up to 10th position here so far in this race. He's made a bit of progress, and Rob in 11th position, of course, the F2 championship leader. But Razin Shai, look at this, right on the back of Alex Gillen, and he's going to think about a move. Yes, he does think about the move, and Alex Gillen isn't going to fight that one too much, because once you fight here, it's such a difficult corner to get it right, and he tucks into second position. So Razin Shai, for the first time today, is leading the race.
Yeah, it almost slammed the door on Alex Gillen as he went past him onto that start-finish straight, saying, no, thank you, this is my lead now, I'm going to run away with it. Alex Gillen immediately under pressure from Safso, and Rob managing not to get past Emphatic this time around. The old wise tale that Emphatic said on that team radio not coming true this time around. Rob just has to sit behind and wait, as it's Ferrari versus Haas, lap 20 of 63 here.
Yeah, and it is going to be Razin Shai leading the championship at the moment, leading the race at the moment, and he is looking to extend as much pain into M-Sky-Z as possible. Now, interestingly though, Razin Shai, one of the only drivers out there who hasn't got a warning there for track limits, so even though he's racing on that pad, it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much.
It's not indeed. Alex Gillen, Team Radio, we're in a safe pack here. Safso's quite passive, so not worried about the Aston Martin behind him, more concerned about the Mercedes in front of him. Safso does dive into the pits further back in your shot, and Alex Gillen has the DRS down the inside. He goes into turn one, and I think quite an easy move there for the Alpine car. Again, slams the door on Mercedes. Alex and Razin have an opportunity to work together here to prevent M-Sky-Z getting involved in the battle.
I think crucially though, Safso is looking for that undercut on these two in front, so I wonder if that is going to trigger the pit stops for the Alpine and the Mercedes, both of them flashing a little bit as well, and Safso choosing this is the right lap. Lap 20 was the right lap to ditch those mediums, and he's actually gone onto a second pair of the medium tyres, so certainly looking to do a two-stop race, medium, soft, maybe medium, and hard. We'll have to see what kind of strategy he's going for. So no safety cars so far, so this is very much an on-merit, on-pace strategy, pit stop strategy, and it's a 29-second delta through the pits. I think it's 26.5 seconds of time lost through the pits here in normal racing conditions. So Alex Gillen is in first, Razin Shai in second, but how quickly are they going to go to the pits to try and cover that off? And are we going to see M-Sky-Z maybe try and do something a little bit different here to offset the fact that he has that penalty? We don't see them coming to the pits. We do. Alex Gillen and the Mercedes have Razin Shai into the pits, but M-Sky-Z looks to have just gone through.
Yeah, M-Sky-Z actually diving into the pits as well, so a lot of drivers deciding this is the time to come off those medium tyres, put on a fresh set and potentially go further towards the end of this race, maybe towards the softer tyre. We saw it in the potential pit strategies, but Michi Hoyer takes the lead of this race. It's passed from one Mercedes to another, and Michi Hoyer leads the race. El Guri in second, Peya just hopping into third there.
Absolutely. Here's Safso in the bottom right-hand corner. Has he done enough to go by? You can see him in the right, and he looks like he's going to get both Alex Gillen and Razin Shai. So Safso goes in to the net lead of the race here on lap 22. Fourth on the road. Actually, the net lead of the race is actually El Giri. Look at that, in P2 at the moment. He's gone up the road. Of course, he pitted early onto a pair of mediums, but he's on a different strategy altogether. But to El Giri in second position, Michi Hoyer didn't pit, and Peya hasn't pit either. So those two haven't pit. Michi Hoyer leading the race here for the first time in the Creator Series this season. And he is 4 seconds at the lead at the moment. But I think El Giri will cut into that very differently. Michi Hoyer doing a very different strategy here, and one of the few drivers to make those hard drivers work.
Yeah, he's managing to make the hard tyres work, challenging a few of the drivers, maybe questioning their strategy as well, as we see the Mercedes driver rounding the final few corners to complete lap 22 here. El Guri is gaining time to him as well. Peya behind and Safso all gaining time as well. So those hard tyres maybe not far off their end of life here.
Absolutely. So the second took away from Michi Hoyer. There we are, just in that lap. And if we have a lap comparison, it's 1:21.21 for Michi Hoyer. That last lap, it was a 1:18 for El Giri. So he's taken 2 seconds a chunk out there. But Tom also looking super quick out there. He is currently down in 8th position as Alex Gillen got by Razin Shai on the straight as well. So that was a position for 4th, and Sato losing positions as well through that, all of that as well. So I just missed that there, looking at the lap time comparisons between Michihoya and LA Giri. But Alex Gillen in 4th position here, so he's kind of got himself back into that net 2nd place on the road, discounting those people who haven't pitted for tyres, who are Michihoya and Peya. Now, it's very interesting. Now, if we have a safety car now, does that work into the favour of Michihoya and Peya?
I think in some regard it would work in their favour. They're obviously ahead on the track. The pit stops won't damage them as much as they would later on in this race. Whether that really messes with their strategy, obviously we saw Michihoya is planning on going longer, Ere Guri potentially going a little bit longer on this stint. Who knows what that will do with in terms of strategy. It might mess them up enough where they could become vulnerable once again, as we see a bit of a kick out there by Michihoya coming through Rivatsa.
Yeah, absolutely. So Michihoya just really starting to struggle on those hard tyres, and they're a good tyre for about 30 laps. We're 24 laps into it. I wonder if Michihoya is going to try and eke out a one-stop, 30, maybe lap 30, pit from hards, and then go into a pair of mediums. That seems like a very long stint, or maybe a hard, medium, soft stint. Very difficult to take this lap to a one-lapper as we see Razin Shai hit by Alex Gillen once again. But LA Giri closing down on the Mercedes in 1st position, and I think in the next couple of laps he will be, well, certainly the next lap he will be in striking distance to take that down the straight. And if we see how Michihoya is struggling on traction out the corners, the Mercedes man won't leave the Grand Prix for too much longer. And certainly, look, he's already closing down. Look, a wobble again as they go through the left-hander of Pirtella and the kink of turn 10 down towards Aquamino Ali now. And LA Giri, there we are, he's going to have DOS, and I think he's going to be able to make a move here and get into 1st position. But interestingly, how quickly can the likes of Razin Shai, Alex Gillen and Safso all close up to the back of LA Giri here? What's the lap delta pace between them? Razin Shai was doing 117's 9:05 last time out. It was about a second slower for LA Giri. So those cars are quicker, and you'd expect that on their newer tyres. But we are going to look at LA Giri going in to the potential lead of the race here, as he's going to open up the DOS, and Michihoya is going to abandon those hard tyres. So very interesting strategy from Michihoya here, doing something different, and yeah, very bold strategy from Michihoya.
Yeah, we expected him to go along as soon as he bolted on those hard tyres. Maybe a little bit of a premature pit stop there for the Mercedes when he came under pressure from Araguri. We did see some team radio just a minute ago from GB68 saying that he's just got to get his head down, focus on the race, and try and recover from P16 where he currently finds himself.
Yep, so Peya also gone into the pits here, and I don't know why it's Michihoya's gone into 14th position, Peya into 17th position, but Alex Gillen is now 7 seconds behind LA Giri. How quickly will that delta come down? I think it will come down quite quickly. Next 5 laps they'll go in, but both sets of drivers have to box again. This is an even fight on the road. LA Giri doing a slightly different strategy. He does soft first stint. I think he'll be going on to a pair of mediums for his final stint, and it was, of course, a medium stint so far for Alex Gillen, Razin Shai, Safso, and M Sky Z. So I expect a faster soft tyre at the end here. So LA Giri needs to make hay while he is having that lead and has the offset of deltas. We'll see how that works out for him. I think once Alex Gillen catches, he'll think about maybe pitting and going on to a pair of medium tyres to the end. Let's see how far he can get in this one though. 6.5 seconds is the gap as we go on to lap 26.
Indeed he does. Araguri really having to get his boogie on, being chased down by the Alpine. Speaking of Alpines, it's Razin Shai that does get P2 back from Alex Gillen here. Safso immediately under pressure as well. These front 3 effectively 2nd through 4th at the moment, really putting pressure on one another. Alex Gillen in the team radio saying last lap we were about half a second quicker than Araguri, and looking at the timing screen, he is exactly right, down to 6.2 seconds now between 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, interestingly, Razin Shai and Alex Gillen are really cooperating well here together. They are DRS overlapping, trying to keep the pace high. They know at the moment the battle isn't between those two for the race win. It is with LA Giri, and the quicker they close them down, the more they cooperate, the better chance they have of getting him through the final stints and making his final stint extra difficult for the Spaniard. So LA Giri, of course, who's won in the Creator Series before in Zandvoort, back in round 3, is someone who knows how to manage the pace of a race to get to the checkered flag in first. But Razin Shai, Alex Gillen race winners, Safso race winners, Sky Z race winners. Everyone in the top 6 has won a race in the Creator Series and won lots of them too. So he's going to find it really, really hard to hold them off. Alex Gillen, again, is going to be right behind Raz and Shai, and he's going to go for a very simple overtake, overlapping, working together. Yeah, a little bit of a warning update for these top 4 drivers. 2 warnings for Elway Giri, 1 warning for Alex Gillen, no warnings for Raz and Shai. Safso on 2 warnings, and 4 warnings for Sky Z. So he already has a penalty to his name, and that is going to be quite detrimental towards the end. He really needs to limit it and hope that these cars in front also end up picking up some kind of penalties. But so far, Raz and Shai, no warning so far. That is quite incredible as we get towards halfway through.
Yeah, with the pure race pace that some of these drivers are showing, warnings are inevitable, as are penalties. Razin Shai, the consistency seems to have found itself around here. He had a few invalidated laps in qualifying, getting himself over the track limits, but round here he's managed to make it work for himself, normally in the train behind either Alex or Safso for the majority of this race. But he's just keeping it consistent. Maybe there's some extra pace to come out at the latter laps when he can afford to risk those warnings come in.
Yep, and if we look a little bit further down the field, who's really having a bad day here? Tim McMurdoch has been completely absent, really. Down in P10, he's just behind Meraki, who started from near the back. Meraki slowly moving his way back up, but I don't think he's quite close enough to mount a challenge for first position at the moment. Mr. Dale, he's in 12th position, scoring some good points. Dirk Chocolate, he needs points. Chesnoid Gaming needs points. Way down the order, but Razanchai gets into 2nd place. Not surprising. That's them overlapping again. But Mr. Dale down in 12th position. I think that's good points from him at the moment, but I wonder how many penalties he has for his name. As Rob gets by him, the Frenchman reserving in for El Taco Man in that Haas car. It'd be some decent points for the Haas team down there at the moment. But Emphatic is going to get the move on a GB68 as well. GB68 really having a bit of a tired day today. He's struggled with this track all day.
Yeah, some of the grid really being flipped on its head here for the Mystery Grand Prix. You mentioned penalties. Mr. Dale is on 9 seconds of penalties around the similar circuit so far, and I don't think we're even at half race distance yet, so a lot more opportunities to pick up time penalties incoming. Devil Noob also on 9 seconds. There's one on 6, which is Chesnoid, who finds himself at P20. MSkyZ, Tom, Dave Gaming, Rob, and Infratic all on 3 seconds as well, so lots more to come, I fear, here in Imola.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that 9 seconds will easily put Mr. Dale out of the top 15 positions if things were to end right now, but we've got over half the race distance. But look at that, MSkyZ, he's putting the burners on a little bit here and trying to drop Tom, the Dutchman, right behind in 6th position. And the DRS did just open for Tom there, so he was just managed to get by. But MSkyZ, ever since that moment with Elway Giri, has been way on the back foot. What has MSkyZ got to hope for here to get himself back into contention with these top 4?
So I say traditionally you've got to hope for a safety car, but with those penalties hanging over his head, that's kind of the last thing he wants right now. He's got a second gap to Tom. He's got about 3 second gaps to Naguera just further back, and he is slowly closing to Safso as well, I believe. So it's I don't know what he really needs right now. He's just got to get a boogie on, get that position up to Safso, and then hope to try and pull away in towards the podium positions.
I think what's going to be crucial for this next stage of the race is how long can Elway Giri cling on to first position. There's about 8 lap difference when it comes to tyre life for those medium tyres that Elway Giri is running and Alex Gillen. So Dafso's got his 3rd penalty there, so that is a shame for him, but MSkyZ will be happy with that one because it's neutral between those two when it comes in terms of time penalties. Yeah, we have, before we go to 2 seconds, before we get any closer to Elway Giri, let's bring Sappy Sean in to see what he's been seeing from the clipboard.
Yeah, well, haven't been, seeing too much notable moments, but have been taking a look around the field. Key things to note, everyone's just trying to find the balance between the tyre strategy, their batteries, and then also having some good race pace. Like, for instance, Alex Gillen, he's been doing a lot of trading with Razin Shai, but that is part of his strategy because he's sitting on 80% compared to Razin's 50. Razin's having to expend that little bit more. In fact, he's on 40% right now, and Alex is fully using the tossing and turning to get himself juiced up, ready for the later stages of the race. A bit further around the field, you've got some drivers who are just trying to take it easy, take this sort of mid-race segment and confirm some of their strategies. But one I'm looking at is Tom, because Tom's burnt all of his battery. He hasn't got ERS. He's looking in a tough spot there in P6.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that one. Mazin Shai is now only a second away from El Giri. So El Giri is in first position, but how long will he be in first position for? Mazin Shai certainly looks to be close behind him as they come round the final corner and they head down towards the start finish line for the 31st time. Mazin Shai will open up the DRS. 6/10 is the gap. Alex Gillen, look at that. He's looking to use a bit of pace and burn battery. And is he going to go for 2-1 down the straight? Yes, he is. Alex Gillen sensed the opportunity and knew that he had enough straight line speed to go for the overtake. And that is fantastic. That could be a really, really pivotal moment as he looks to break away. El Giri will slow down Alex Gillen through the middle sector, but will slow down Mazin Shai through the middle sector, sorry. And Mazin Shai is going to have to look to go for an overtake in a riskier position midway through the lap. And El Giri is someone you really want to really carefully pick your way through. Mazin Shai right behind, attempt the gap. Look at it going up. Ballooning is the gap between Alex Gillen and El Giri. Mazin Shai will be desperate. Keep within that 1 second window. Is he going to think about a move into the Variante Alta? El Giri looks to be a little bit defensive, but Mazin Shai doesn't have the pace up the hill. This is all absolutely crucial to Mazin Shai and Alex Gillen's race here. Can Alex Gillen break the 1 second gap? El Giri being that blocker, and I don't think he's going to make a move before the final corner, so it is going to have to be down at turn 1. Luckily, El Giri has managed to stay within DRS, and it looks like El Giri is working hard to stick within that DRS window. Look at that, M-Sky Z not too far behind either, but Mazin Shai is going to open that DRS, but DRS is open for El Giri, and look at that, that is such pain for the Englishman, who is going to be so desperate to get by. But Alex Gillen has played an absolute blinder here to stick those two between them. But look at that, El Giri's going to put deep out of Tamburello, and now Mazin Shai is going to close and close. Well, he may go for a move into Villeneuve. He doesn't want to battle too hard, but he's certainly going to be close enough into Tosa. No, a sloppy exit has cost him, but Tiamat Arnock is out of the session, and it's a safety car. What has happened to Ben? Ben's first DNF in many seasons, and that has come out of nowhere.
Well, it looked like he crashed out towards the start-finish straight, rounding at turn 1 and in towards Tamburello. On board now with him, he's looking rather angry at the moment, and yeah, gesticulating towards the camera. Can't seem to fathom the mistake that went wrong. And we have got a safety car here as we cross the 50% mark for this Italian Grand Prix.
This has turned the race on its head. Just when you thought Alex Gillen was going to do something sublime and use El Giri as a perfect chess piece to commit checkmate, he gets done by his old friend Tiamat Marduk, who's absolutely in the mud, out of championship contention. We can now confirm with that result. And Ben is very, very disappointed with that. You can see it on his face. You can see him gesticulating, something going wrong today. And El Giri into the pits. A perfect time for El to come into the pits, all things considered. We also see another couple of cars come to the pits. Safso, M-Sky Z going into the pits, doing something opposite to Mazin Shai. Has Mazin Shai missed a blinder here? This is potentially huge for the race.
Well, it's a fantastic opportunity for El to pit, get that fresh set of tyres on. It looked like he was also held for a little bit longer. I think that might have just been a bit of visual glitch from our end. But Mazin Shai up into P2, going off the track as well, maybe trying to let a laps car through. And it is indeed letting the AlphaTauri of Chesnoid through to unlap himself. Fantastic sportsmanship there.
Yeah, as Mr. Dale leaves the session, that is not a good time. Actually, no, it's not the worst time to leave the session, in fact, but he's up into 4th position because I don't think his AI pitted. But El Giri in 3rd. He's in a very, very good position. He's gone onto a pair of hard tyres, so he could easily reach the end from here. And I think Alex Gillen and Mazin Shai have potentially made a mistake that has cost them any opportunity at the race win here. And El Giri is going to be the first car in the Crocodile to be able to pounce on Alex Gillen and Mazin Shai unless they realise their mistake and go and pit right now. But sometimes you just got to stick and hope for something else to come your way later down the line. But I tell you what, we can go over to let's just wait a little moment before we go to clip book. Actually, I just want to make sure Alex Gillen and Mazin Shai cruise through the pit lane and don't pit as well, because it would be important to bring that to our viewers. But yeah, a very, very interesting strategy here. And I think if you look down, hard runners, I think Mr. Dale is generally out there on pace. He's got only 12 lap old hards. I think he'll lose a few positions certainly, but it would have been an unfortunate time for him to pit if he did pit then, so he would have lost the best of those hards if he joins the session as well. Now, Alex Gillen doesn't look like he's going to come to the pits. Vasin Shai isn't coming into the pits either, so we can go over to the clip book knowing that we know what's going on in this race.
And what we found out what was going on with Ben is actually a form of equipment issue. So we jump on board here, everything's looking fine.
We are so slow today, it's
Pauses,
outrageous.
has a big issue
resetting
with
my
some
wheel.
of his equipment, and the AI takes over for him briefly there. He tries to wrestle his controls, he comes back over the menu, and he goes straight. His AI tries to recover, and then that's it. He's in the wall, terminal damage.
Ha. Yeah, very good.
That is
And you can
Oh,
see
very
the
good.
frustration on him, yeah.
it's
Bruh.
an uncharacteristic error from Tiamat Marduk because truthfully it's not really his error. So difficult to retake control. It was always a risk, wasn't it? He hoped that he was back in the game, but he wasn't. That's agony for Ben. But at least he wasn't leading the Grand Prix. He was fairly far down the order here. So not having a great day to start with. It's just been compounded by that DNF. I can't remember the last time he did DNF actually. I may have a quick look through the stats, but it's been a little while certainly.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate race end for Tiamat Marduk. One of those issues that was really just unfortunate timing for that second pause. He almost corrected it, and I think if he'd held it, he probably would have saved the spin. That second opportunity to go into the pause menu, the AI trying to counter-correct, maybe overcorrecting a little bit, sent the Ferrari into the wall. But what's really interesting is of note, the tyre choices for some of the drivers behind. We'll have a look at them in a second. Mr. Dale on the radio saying they are gone like a TARDIS. I don't think I've ever heard the TARDIS used as a description for someone being gone, but we have now. You hear all things weird and wacky here in the Creator Series. But going back to the tyre choices, some have gone hard, some have gone fresh mediums. They will see them till the end, but a significant cliff will amount to our drivers in the last few laps if we don't see another safety car here.
Yeah, it's Ben's first retirement since season 2. That's his first retirement of F123 in the Creator Series, which is quite an incredible stint. As Elway Giri has, has he gone into the pits? No, he hasn't. Someone's gone into the pits here. I think it's to Dale. He has decided they have gone. I just saw someone peel into pits. I saw a lick of red, but of course that is the halo on the AlphaTauri. So yeah, that would have been a big bad move for Elway Giri to pit there. But yeah, incredible that Tiamat Marduk has gone so long without a DNF, and realistically, just a technical fault, nothing to do with him.
Indeed, and that actually only makes 5 in 5 seasons here in the Creator Series, so averaging 1 a season at the moment. I mean, considering the statistics there, that is a fantastic drive from Tiamat Marduk.
Yeah, I mean, there was a DNF in the Belgian sprint last season, but does that count? Was it season 3 maybe? That doesn't count, does it?
No.
Who cares about sprint races, right? So anyway, we don't have safety car in this lap yet because we don't have all the cars forming up in the snake. So it is going to be the likes of Chesnoy Gaming who will be filling up and going from the back. Dirt Chocolate also a little bit astray, and Devil Noob and Mr. Dale, of course, Mr. Dale just pitting as Dirt Chocolate gets a time penalty. That is like the laziest time penalty in the world. Getting a time penalty under safety car for track limits is like, it's just like keep your concentration up. Don't get wacky warnings in the safety car because they absolutely cost, and that was enough to get his warning. As we do have a safety car in this lap message, so we'll have to go on board with the cars in first position. As I believe that we are here. So we are Alex Gillen in first, Razin Shai in second, Elway Giri in third. He is going to be the interesting one here on those hard tyres. How quickly can he warm those tyres up? It's going to be absolutely crucial to his race. But yeah, let's see. When is Alex Gillen going to go here? On the run down to the first and second Ravatsas. He's going to pick up the pace. He's waiting for the safety car to go into the pit. Chesno still way astray here on the pack, but Alex Gillen goes. There we are. He's gone early through the middle of the Ravatsas. He's got a good dig out to Razin Shai, but how close is Elway Giri? Elway Giri motoring down towards turn 1, closing and closing. I think expending a little bit of battery, but he's not going to be within touching distance as we come into turn 1 here. The safety car restart on lap 36 here in the Creator Series, and we are in green flag conditions once again. Elway Giri looking very racy behind Razin Shai. Only 2 tenths is a gap. Is he going to think about a move into Tosa? If he has a better run, he will, but they're just hard tyres at the moment, aren't fantastic. But they are 14 lap old mediums on Alex Gillen and Razin Shai.
Yeah, just not getting those hearts as fired up as he would have wished to from the race start. Alex getting a fantastic restart though, keeping Razin Chai at bay for the time being. Both of them on equal tyres as you mentioned. Safso and MSkyZ though equally behind El Reguri on the fresher hards as well. Both with time penalties, so they could really come into play.
And someone who's gone a little bit amiss for all of this is Meraki in 6th position. No time penalties to his name. Also on that preferable hard, medium tyre. Well, he's on a medium tyre actually, preferable to those hard tyres at the moment. So that could be very crucial for him. Let's see how that works out for him. But Razin Chai right on the back of Alex Gillen. Actually, El Reguri losing a little bit of contact with Razin Chai just ahead. Still within a second, but we won't have DRS on this lap. And Safso just looking to keep it in there. MSkyZ, the man in 2nd in the championship, just behind. But look at that, Meraki not too far behind him. The season 4 champion would love to stick it up in there and have some fun with it. So, but Razin Chai, look at that, Razin Chai takes the lead of the race there. That was all in the final moments there. I think EOS burn from Razin Chai, and now El Reguri is only 2.5 tenths away from Alex Gillen, and surely Alex Gillen's going to struggle. Bit of a jump on them, not a massive one. It really wasn't a massive one because Razin Chai has already got back in front of the Alpine, and now the Alpine will struggle to keep the Spaniard behind.
Yeah, tyres really down on the Alpine. We saw a little bit of a wiggle there out of Tosa for Alex Gillen. Razin Chai already making gaps between himself and the Alpine. And El Reguri not really making an impression on the front two at the moment, dropping back ever so slightly, just trying to keep Safso at bay. Tom coming in with the team radio. Let's play the long game here. Let them play, he says from P7. Talking about our front runners at the moment.
Yeah, he wants them to go knockabouts, really. Play some bumper cars and let him cruise through and pick up some serious points here in the Creators Period. Alex Gillen's weird tyres we're hearing are near the cliff. They are near the cliff of pace where they don't feel great anymore. They will last. They won't completely destroy, but they are in a very precarious position. But look at this, behind Razin Chai, he's going to maybe think about a move and use that EOS burn to his advantage, down towards turn 1, Tamburello up the inside, and it means that El Reguri can't get by. So these two working well together, but look at this, DRS is now going to be at play at the end of this lap, and it's going to be super hard for these two medium runners.
Yeah, there's still a massive train here. Almost everyone within the grid, like together on this train from first all the way down to Chesnoid Gaming, and it will make overtaking really hard down the start-finish straight. But Alex Gillen still has that advantage. Meraki in 5th, though, with being penalty-free, has an opportunity for a podium later on in this race.
Yeah, here we are then. Alex Gillen, Razin Chai, El Reguri are the top 3. Safso has that penalty in 4th position. Meraki's got by MSkyZ. He's worming his way back into contention for this race, and actually from way down the back, maybe a last to first challenge will finally work. He's done it in this race, so we're thinking back to 6.43 way back out of the grid and run. And different track back to first off. Alex Gillen is going to be the most pressure. Razin Chai is going to be the most pressure. El Reguri is right behind, ready to pound on his way, and he will open the DRS here, and he will sponge a bit of battery, full whack of battery he's got there, activated it, EOS burn, one car, the Mercedes done. Now Alex Gillen is behind him, and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Razin Chai also by Alex Gillen, and Safso onto the grass. It was so nearly, we're just missing that there, but Safso does get through. That was hairy and scary there. I didn't think he'd make it through, but still within the DRS of Razin Chai. Safso is looking to keep within pace of El Reguri. And remember, Safso hasn't had a podium since round 1, season 3 of this series. Incredible.
Yeah, it looks like Meraki's trying to make a move on Alex Gillen as well as they head up the hill towards Piratella. That left-hander is normally an opportunity for overtaking if they can dive down the inside. The Williams all over the rear gearbox of Alex here, down towards Aqua Minerale. And Alex, I think, just having to reconsider his options here. Those tyres definitely going off that cliff that we mentioned before.
Yep, so Alex Gillen is in 4th position, losing positions to Safso, and now Meraki will be the next person to pounce on him as we go down into this left-hander of turn 17 and 18, and Meraki will be able to open up his DRS and surely get by Alex Gillen. Alex Gillen, absolutely crucial that he stayed within that DRS window. He did, but Safso in 3rd position will look to make a move on Razin Chai too. Safso in 3rd and Safso in 2nd. And was Safso even going to have enough pace to catch up with El Reguri? No, 1.6 seconds is the gap. He's absolutely disappeared, and it's time for El Reguri to crush the morale here and try to break away from this pack.
Yeah, he really has an opportunity to run away with this lead. Safso on those fresher hards as well has to break away from the Mercedes of Razin Chai if he has if he has any hope of trying to keep up on the second step of the podium here.
So we can go to a quick replay of Safso having a moment here. We saw it on the stream, and Safso with that lovely face showing on his streams finally. Oh, it looked way more scary than that on our stream, I must say. It looked way more scary, but certainly 2 wheels on the grass there, and that was crucial for him to stay with Razin Chai and make that move there. But 1.5 seconds is the gap there. So yeah, fantastic work from our Clipbook member there, Sappy, to get that to us. And LA Giri now it has 1.5 second, 1.4 second gap to Safso. Let's see how quickly they can close down. But I think now next thing is what can Meraki do? Was MSkyZ actually makes has a bit of a moment out of the Variante Alta. That could give a position to Nogueira as well in the background. The man who's second in the championship is going backwards here, and there's all sorts of movement all over the place. It's very scary to see that movement down into turn 1 here. It's so difficult to spot the right braking marks, and they all get down on the brakes correctly. But Michi Hoya still right on the back of Nogueira, and MSkyZ is going to be have a little bit of breathing room there, and that's a very good job there. So MSkyZ didn't lose too many positions, just 1 to Tom from that mistake out of the Variante Alta.
Yeah, we've seen instances down into turn 2 before. Patton very memorably taking out a lot of drivers with his bowling attempt down there into Tamarello, and I'm surprised we haven't seen it this time around. A lot of drivers making moves onto the grass, shuffling around, and all of them getting through scot-free at the moment.
Yeah, so here we are, lap 41. Elray Giri leads the Grand Prix. He's maintaining the gap of 1.5 seconds. Razin Chai has now crucially lost that second window to Safso, so he's going to be under pressure from Alex Gillen. But Alex Gillen already under pressure from Meraki. The Season 4 champion is right behind the Season 2 champion here. So Alex Gillen, who didn't pit off of those tyres. I wonder when it's going to be the right time to pit off of those tyres. I think they'll wait a little bit longer, hope for a safety car to come and save their blushes. But now Meraki will have DRS open, and they'll have battery burn as well. Razin also low on battery. It could be free ride. It is free ride into Tamburello, and who comes out on top? It's Meraki, but there's certainly contact between the Alpine and the Mercedes, and that means that Tom can get an absolute jump on the Mercedes of Razin Chai, because Razin Chai was caught up by Alex Gillen there.
Yeah, Tom trying to make a move on his teammate as well. He looks around the outside of Tosa, down the inside again. Alex is cutting it off. Very clear, nearly contact between the two Alpines. And the rest of the field you can see bunching up just in the background of your shot. But up into 7th is Razin Chai all the way down, nearing his teammate, Michi Hoya. I wonder if these two Mercedes can start to work together.
This is getting incredibly scruffy here, and that could mean that another safety car isn't too far away. A smack of desperation has settled over our drivers, and Razin Chai really vocal here. What is that man stupid driving? And who is he referring to that? I wonder. It could be a number of anyone, to be honest. So very, very interesting. I think it's Jamie Mells he's referring to, all the way back from Season 1. But anyway, Alex Gillen now is going to be in 4th position and have Tom right behind him. 5th position is Tom. And he's going to open up the DRS and get by his teammate here. I think there isn't going to be too much of a battle here. Alex Gillen, though, only in it for himself. Certainly not too conscious of Alpine's battle here. But MSkyZ also looking to get through as well. So MSkyZ up into 5th position. Remember, Safso, Tom, and MSkyZ all running 3-second penalties here. Meraki, no penalty, and neither does Elray Giri. But Safso is losing a little bit of time, lap over lap, to Elray Giri. So Meraki needs to close down and pass Safso and then try to get onto the back of the Spaniard.
Yeah, we're understanding that Team Radio from Razin is trying to refer, well, we assume it's referring to Meraki after that kind of chaos towards Tamarello and towards Villeneuve. But up into positions is GB68 past Razin. Razin really dropping positions here. I wonder if there's a bit of wing damage for him, as he is just considerably dropping down this grid order at the moment.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of wing damage. Maybe those tyres just really start to not work for him. But yeah, it could be that he comes into the box soon. We'll have to see if that works for him and what happens with that. But certainly he needs to get off of those tyres to have any chance of anything coming back. But it's such a long pit lane, it could really just make him out the points in this race. And remember, Razin Chai in the hunt for the championship lead. This could be a very good day for the Frenchman, MSkyZ. Meraki just a second away from Safso's DRS window, but Safso also closing down over these last couple of laps. So I think Safso just using a little bit of battery tactically to keep Meraki at bay. Tom right on the back of Meraki, closing down. But remember, 3-second penalty for him. So Meraki has 3 seconds on the road to him after the penalty is applied.
Yeah, he also has next to no battery. We're being told very low ERS levels for the Williams car. Tom in an absolutely fantastic opportunistic moment here to get up into P3, but Meraki might take that back with penalties later on in the race. Tom, though, still in a very opportunistic move. MSkyZ wanted to join the party as well, as he's only about 6 tenths behind third and fourth.
Yeah, but it really is gap watch here at the Creative Series today. Meraki has just squeezed within that second window. If he can maintain that on the run down to the hill towards the left-hander of the Ravazza, then he will have DRS on Safso as they run down the straight, and that will help negate some of the battery issues he's facing. You can see it flashing all the way down the hill like a Christmas tree. And Meraki, our season 4 champion, looking to be in the podium places again, and only for the second time this season. And without that time penalty to his name, he does have 2 warnings though, so he can't push it too hard. 2 warnings for El Giri, the man out in front, so it could very easily be a 3 penalties apiece race for the top 5, as Michi Hoyer now gets by Alex Gillen, and Alex Gillen loses another position, and Emphatic picks up another 3-second time penalty. Alex Gillen starting to feel what Basin felt a number of laps ago with those tyres going off. And look at that GB68 right behind. Is he going to go for a move? If he go too wide into Villeneuve, it is certain to end up with bad times, but maybe a move into Tosa could be done, and he does look for the inside, and is going to be a little bit of contact between the two. I think there was, but GB68 and Alex Gillen still battling, both scary on traction, but I think GB68 is just going to nudge this one, but they're pushing each other very, very hard, and GB68 just gets by there for 8th position as the ass of Dave Gaming thinks about a move into Aquarillo Ali, and that is a big, big incident there. Lucky that no one has DNF'd. Dave Gaming rejoins the track, and no safety car there, because I don't think there was any damage on any of the cars. Just a nudge. How they all got through is an absolute mystery.
Yeah, fantastic recovery from Dave, just to pull his car off the track before getting involved in any further incidents. Just the wheel spin onto the grass was all the Haas needed to save himself from being rear-ended by more cars as they came through the high-speed corner of Aqua Minerale. And he hasn't lost as many positions as maybe thought, only down to P16, but Alex Gillen down to P13 at the moment, potentially wing damage on the Alpine.
Yep, heading on to lap 46 here, and it is going to be El Giri who leads, and it is Peria who's just lost a position for 9th, so that guy Vince getting up into 9th there. The battles are going all the way down this field, of course. Safso keeping a consistent pace with El Giri, but he has the likes of Meraki and Tom behind. Remember, Safso hasn't had a podium for a very long time here, as Peria battling with his compatriot as they head up the hill towards Piratella, turn 9. It's just not going to have the pace. And Alex Gillen says, morons everywhere. Why are you putting a wheel there? And it's a pretty harsh from Alex Gillen. It was a very brave move. But yeah, very, very, very vocal there on the team radio. And, you know, these kind of things do certainly happen. It isn't a usual overtaking position, but Dave Gaming really like he had to make the move there to get by Alex Gillen, car who's super, super quick. But anyway, as we go back to the lead of this race, Meraki is really, really pushing and harrying Safso. Remember back to round 3 when these two were absolutely going for it around the streets of Monaco in the Fan Vote Grand Prix. And Tom is going to be looking to get through because Meraki has got through up the inside, and Tom also gets through. It's too wide through here. MSkyZ tucked up behind. He does not want to get involved in an incident here because he currently would lead the championship as things stand. But MSkyZ in 5th position just waits behind as Meraki and Tom both get by Safso.
Yeah, fantastic moves there by Meraki and Tom. Safso just having to defend and wait his moment, and MSkyZ lining up a move, I feel. A couple of drivers further back, Razin and Peria, both pitting after that initial contact and those that little incident down into Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, it's a pair of softs, but frankly, without a safety car, there's no way they'll get back into any good point-scoring positions here. Anything for Razin Shai would be good, but look at that, so far adrift 37 seconds adrift of the field, and that's 27 seconds adrift of P10. So that's really difficult for Razin Chai. It's a long pit lane here. It feels like you're crawling for it forever. So it's very difficult. But El Guri is in first position here. Meraki now has the mantle of closing down on the Alfa Romeo. How hard are these going to work? How well are these two cars going to work together, Tom and Meraki, to close down El Guri here? I think Tom's going to sense an opportunity to overtake, because indeed that Williams is still having battery drain issues as they get towards the corner. It's just quite not enough overspeed to make that move.
Yeah, fantastic defending still by Meraki, low on battery to the Alpine of Tom behind him. He knows penalties will come into things. He probably could let Tom and Safso go, and MSkyZ if he's feeling brave enough and stay within that penalty delta. Those guys all on 3-second penalties behind him. So it's all on him as to whether he can afford to let them go or whether he wants to get this win on track, challenge El Guri in the next 15 or so laps and get that move done on the track.
The other thing that's absolutely worth noting here is that Meraki and Tom are on that medium tyre. Safso, El Guri and MSkyZ all on the harder tyre. So you'd have to imagine that they have better tyre life towards the end of those stints. But you often see in F1 23 that mediums and hards have similar tyre life and similar pace towards the end of their stints. So we'll see how that works out for them. But Meraki now 1.8 seconds behind El Guri. If I was Meraki, I think I'd just let Tom by, but it's how he lets him by. He doesn't want to lose positions here, because if he falls out of whack, he could easily fall down to 5th position and find it very difficult to get him. Tom, there we are, goes for the move up the inside, and he's going to get that position. Is Safso going to be able to follow him through? He thinks about it, wobbling on the brakes, but there we are, into 4th, and Tom into 2nd here, 1.4 seconds into the gap. You see how beneficial it is to have someone overtake you with DOS down there, because that gap has gone down by 4 tenths to El Guri. Tom now has to pick up the pace on El Guri.
Yeah, Tom really now has to lay the hammer down on the Alfa Romeo in front of him. He's got to try and pull away from Meraki. Meraki's going to feel safe, feel content without those penalties hanging over his head. He is, of course, on 2 warnings. But those penalties not coming thick and fast for the Williams at the moment. Safso and MSkyZ still on penalties. And Michi Hoyer still sneaking up behind them in P6. So one to watch, I fear.
Yep, so Michi Hoyer, not too far out of this one. He does well at the Mystery Grand Prix, doesn't he? He's cut the lead Mercedes in this race, and cruising up to the back of this pack. The German is doing very well here, and he got a podium last time out. He doesn't have any penalties to his name. He could be well within another podium here, but Nogueira could also be within his limit to get a podium here, and it would be his first podium in the Creator Series. So stories and history will be made today. Michi Hoyer decides that I'm wrong and goes to pit. So he's on those medium tyres. He felt like they would not get to the end, and he's hoping to maybe make a jump on the cars ahead. So that is that's an interesting strategy from him. But Meraki is in 3rd, and he's about 3 tenths behind Tom. Tom is 2 seconds behind El Guri, so they're just not able to close down.
Yeah, the battle for 2nd place really hampering either driver's ability to try and put a challenge on El Guri in the lead of this race at the moment. Meraki, Safso and Tom all kind of having to work together if they want to make a chance at getting that top spot on the podium. But at the moment, if they keep battling, El Guri is just going to be able to run away with this as long as he doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, Razin doing a nice little overtake on the straight into 40th position. He has got himself into the points again. So this is very much damage recovery here, damage limitation, certainly, to see how many points he can drag back into this one. At the moment, he'd be losing the championship lead to MSkyZ, and MSkyZ I don't think has to pit again on those hard tyres. Could certainly see himself in the top 5, but with how penalties are working out, it's all about how Nogueira is dropped by MSkyZ. El Guri leads this one, 2.5 seconds is the gap. Those mediums just going off, and Meraki maybe ruining that he let Tom by, but Meraki just not seeming to have the pace to close down that lead. Safso in 4th position, he looks very close behind, and I think he may even be going for an overtake into turn 1. He is, but MSkyZ immediately up the inside tries to get him, and MSkyZ and Safso are battling for 4th and 5th position, and there's a yellow flag, and there's a big safety car. There was a big shunt, and he's on the left. That was Safso and MSkyZ who attacked each other, and it's a virtual safety car, and that is huge for the championship. What was a bad day for Razin Chai is now a hugely bad day for MSkyZ in this championship.
Razin Shai rather is probably celebrating in his seat at the moment at the thought of his championship rival crashing out of this race. Tom on Team Ready is saying 13 laps, we can do this, but he has to re-overtake me. So I'm guessing that's talking about Tom and Meraki working together to try and pull forward towards the championship, towards the lead of this race. Devil Noob gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Really unfortunately, he was running in P9, having a good race so far. And yeah, really, really unfortunate for MSkyZ, one of the championship leaders.
Daniel Gilligan coming in chat saying, what did I miss? You just watched someone who would nearly have a fantastic day, absolutely squander it, fighting really hard for Safso for position. Of course, both of them had penalties, so both of them would have been racing for position. But look at this virtual safety car. Some of the cars deciding to pit. Tom and Meraki, those cars deciding to pit at the moment under virtual safety car conditions. Of course, all the cars having to stick to a day of Delta. It's a very, very long pit lane. But we are seeing a number of cars coming to pits. LA Giri in the lead indeed went for the pits as well. So everyone kind of resetting their tyres here. And Razin Shai may be able to make a few positions, but because everyone's pitting under this virtual safety car, which has gone on for a very, very long time, then he will not make as many positions as he wants. And have the added thing of that he doesn't have the right tyres. So if he cruises through a few of these people, he can make a big gain. But look at this, Razin is pitting as well. Do we have a full safety car? We do have a full safety car. It is a full safety car, so what we're being told in the top left-hand corner is wrong. And JD Devil Noob lead this Grand Prix.
Well, yeah, there's no safety car on the track at the moment. Maybe Bert Mylander just having a bit of a moment. He's out on the track, not showing on our track map at the moment.
We know it's a safety car. We know it's a safety car.
But it is Devil Noob who leads this race. He does have that drive-through penalty to contend with, and Guri will effectively inherit lead of this race on the fresh softs later on.
Right, I want to see what happened with MSkyZ there, because we just missed it on the broadcast, but I want to see what happened to him, because this is a huge, huge moment in our championship, with only 2 rounds to go after today. Over to Tappy.
And what we can see here is, we get a bit of a play-by-play of what happened. So, right out the gate, we set the scene. He's fighting with Sapso, he's got Meraki up ahead, so he's in effect boxed in. He's not got many options, so he's just trying to keep in his own space while continuing the fight. Sapso's on the same tyre, Meraki's up ahead, he's expecting him to get away coming out of these next couple corners. Next we come up, tries to give him a bit of the space on the left side, peels out to the right, and then you can see either he lost the grip or he got touched on the rear left. It's inconclusive to say, but either way, you can see him slide. He does try and catch it, but it's just not enough. He drives over, the front left is gone, and you can see the frustration.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to blame that on Sasso, straight up. Hashtag blame Sasso. There must have been contact there from Sasso. And too wide today, we've seen it already. Things have got a bit hairy and loose. And yeah, fantastic for you to bring us the clip here, Sasso. Fantastic for people who are commenting with the clips as well. Really appreciate that. But look at that, JD Devil Noob is going to take us into this race. He has 21 lap hold hards. But I guess he's thought, what the hell, I probably won't get a result out of this race either way. I'll just see what happens and see how long I can maintain first position. It's going to be really interesting to see how long he can maintain this position and what kind of effect he can have on this race. Only 10 laps to go. Of course, a big penalty next to his name. But LA Giri, Tom, Meraki, Safso with a lot left pits behind them. And I tell you what, we've got Safso's side of the incident too. Sapitron working overdrive today.
No, well, this one goes to arc_33 in Sapso's chat. So shout out to him for getting the clip of this side. But here's Sapso's POV of the incident. So we've already set the scene. He's got the inside. It's actually Sapso who takes a bit of a wobble, going a bit too much into the curb. Takes a wobble on the sausages, and then he does tap into SkyZ, and he tries to give it a bit more space and to peel away from the curbs to give him the room to recover. But yeah, unfortunately...
Sorry, that was me. Oh, no, he's out, no.
Yeah, he immediately regrets it. You can see on his face. He says, nope, sorry, that was me. Oh, geez. So, immediate regret, but to say whether that's a racing incident or not, I guess we'll wait to see.
Yeah, well, fantastic work. Can we just see that again? I just want to see it again. Maybe full speed. I just want to see the the full speed assassination of MSkyZ from this race. Look at that. I mean, it's
sorry, that was me. Oh, no, he's out. No.
In there for good measure. Too wide through there. It's always dangerous. I don't think MSkyZ should have backed out of it, but Safso. It's just
sorry, that was me. Oh, no, he's out. No.
Time again in league racing and F123 online racing. And when two cars don't give each other ultimate respect, there's a big problem. And Sky Z, of course, is the obstacle, but we do have a restart here. We're going straight into it, and JD Devilnoob is going to restart here. That's come a lot quicker than I thought I had, and we're going to have a lot of jockeying for position behind. Meraki in 4th position, maybe looking for a move straight away. Elway Giri up the inside of JD Devilnoob. He's going to leave him space. Was there a little bit of contact there? No, there wasn't. JD Devilnoob still maintains this, but look, up the inside of Villeneuve. He's going to think about it, but no, he backs out of it yet again. Elway Giri knowing that would be the end of his day if anything went wrong. Elway Giri way, ooh, big incident in the back. Nugera involved with that one. I think that guy Vince also involved with that one, and that is going to be a yellow flag being waved. I don't think it's a safety car because no one has crashed out of this one, but Devilnoob has lost the first position. There is a safety car. There is a safety car here, so that has reset the grid again, and cautions breed cautions here in the Creator Series, and that was a big moment. I'm sure we're going to have clips again of what happened, and look at that hards, 22 lap old hards for Jet Devilnoob. That is quite something. So wow, he's going to hope for some more safety cars here so he can salvage some kind of points out of it, but he's got 9 seconds of penalties at least. Oh, he's got a drive-through to earn name as well. He really is. He really is just here for a bit of publicity for that Williams team, isn't he? Making good hay of his reserve drive here in the F1 Creator Series and getting his name plastered around it. Everyone go subscribe to JD Devilnoob.
Yeah, fantastic for opening lap attempt there from the safety car restart. Obviously, knowing that he's got to drive through into the pits regardless he goes, so probably a set of softs speeding the pit lane. Didn't even look like he attempted to brake there, and decides that his day in the sun then is done in the Creator Series Imola Grand Prix. 5 minutes of fame there for JD Devilnoob, and Nogueira actually behind him getting a 5-second speeding penalty as he heads into the pit to probably get a fresh set of softs as well, I'd assume. But loads of other drivers heading into the pits in Fratic, Razin, Alex Gillen, Razin Chai and Dale, all to name a few. So interesting to see where this leads them as they jump all the pack out here on lap 55 of 63.
Yeah, big raid from M Sky Z. Commiserations for that. Absolutely, we've just watched that through on the clip book, and it's just pain for M Sky Z. Some F's in chat for M Sky Z, but we are going to go for a POV shot of that guy Vince's restart there.
Yep, and say on board with him now. He does try and go for the move. So he got Rob and Nogueira on the inside, or on the outside, I should say. They're 3 wide. Keep about it. 3 wide into this corner. So there is going to be a casualty, no matter which way you slice it. You cannot make it. And seeing as none of the 3, Rob nor Nogueira, wanted to yield, this was the result. To say goes as narrow as he can, but the Sauber still goes up. He does have a bit more pace. He tries to get round before they touch wheels, and unfortunately that is going to see the Red Bulls slide deep into the gravel. And Vince, he says, I knew it. It's almost an inevitability, and Nogueira is also going to be caught up in that. But that is what caused
Should
that
not have gone 3 wides.
Yeah, 3 wide into Villeneuve. It just doesn't work. And at the time I was saying, Elway Giri isn't going to go for a move 2 wide into Villeneuve. So 3 wide was certainly a mad one. But look at that. Tom second in the race. Meraki third. Michi Hoyer's in 4th. Dafso's dropped a few positions. This is turned up its head. Razin Shai, how is he down in 13th? Yeah, I'm jumping over GB there. He's also in 5th, but I forget about him. Something about a Renault Espace. Anyway, Elway Giri is in 1st position here. Tom in 2nd, Maki in 3rd. A very, very interesting race here. It's going to be a grandstand finish. We only have 3 laps left.
Yeah, lots of penalties as well, causing chaos amongst the drivers. Tom on one of those penalties, Safso all the way down from 6th to 10th having penalties. So the grid could really become reshuffled here as they cross the line. There's a mixture of 3, 6 and 9, even 12-second penalties for Chesnoid Gaming.
Yep, Nogueira has pitted for 17th position, and he is, I think he's just trying to clear that 5-second penalty. He's going to have to absolutely get Harry on here to collect and get to the back of that crocodile, because he's in the 1st sector. They're going through the 2nd sector now. I think we could see a safety car in this lap message, and Nogueira is certainly someone who has been super quick today, but just had no luck. And he is someone that may have lost out a little bit with those playoff places. But anyway, we don't have a safety car in this lap message so far, and we have Nagua still off the back end of this one. So yeah, very interesting to see.
Yeah, team radio from GB68 as well coming in there saying it hasn't been a good race by his standards. GP, you're in 5th. You have the potential to get a podium here. There's penalties ahead of you. There is a podium opportunity still for the Aston Martin. Tom, I have a feeling, will drop down quite a few positions here. No safety car restart this lap around, so it looks like we will go on lap 58 of 63. 6 laps of racing is what we're predicting here.
Right, so Elway Giri in first position, Tom in second, Meraki in third. TK, come on, bring your opinions out. Who's going to win this one?
I think Meraki could pull off a last to first here. He's in a prime position. El Guri might be on the newer tyres potentially. They pretty much all of them pit just a few laps ago. But Meraki has got that drive. He just has to clear Tom. Tom, if he wants to play tactical, could be an absolute roadblock for the Williams in these next few laps. They're only going to have DRS for about 3 or 4 laps here as the safety car will peel away, hopefully within this lap. But I think in my books, Meraki could get the race win here.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, we're going to go for it quickly. I want to hear in chat as well who you think your driver of the day is. But TK, who's your driver of the day?
Oh, there's so many to choose from. I think Ere Guri has to be my driver of the day at the moment. He performed fantastically in qualifying. The 2 Alfa Romeos working perfectly in sync, putting fastest lap after the fastest lap. Himself and Nogueira kind of coming out of nowhere to set some really quick laps in Q1 and Q2, and then dominating this race with an early pit stop. The strategies worked perfectly for him, and to keep it penalty free as well, that is a very good bonus.
So yeah, right. I'm pretty sure we will have everyone bunched together here. Do you know? I'm going to say it. Driver of the day for me, JD Devil Noob. Yes, he's been involved. He didn't cause these incidents, but he got his name out there, and yeah, I just want to say his name as many times as possible. But yeah, commiserations to him. He says that he didn't have a great time with the game today, but we are going to have racing again for 6 more laps here of Mystery Grand Prix action. Tom is in second position. He has 3 seconds of penalties on his name. Meraki in third. 4th is Michi Hoyer. What can he could do? Rasin Shai way down in 13th. Our championship leader. Elway Giri, though, slowing this down very aggressively. And look at that, Tom. Oh, he thought he'd gone. He didn't. He slowed it down again on the final corner. But Tom's still right with him. 4 tenths is the gap. Meraki is going to be right behind, though. 2 tenths for him. But there's a lot of weaving on the straight as it meanders left and right. Tom closing and closing. Is he going to go for a move? He just gets closed up behind. Michi Hoyer also looking for the inside line there. Safso is in 6th position. GB68 right behind in 5th position, looking for a move on Michi Hoyer. They all stay exactly as they were. A lot less chaotic on this restart. So everyone has stayed in the same positions. Elway Giri is in the pound seat here for victory. No more safety cars and escaping down the road. And he could do a very, very interesting race here. So Razin Shai would have 107 points. M-Sky Z would have 102 points because he's out of this race. And GB68 would somehow be back into 3rd position as his championship. Absolutely crazy turn of events. Look at that. Meraki and Tom97 are part of the fight still with how it would stand at this moment in time. But anything could happen. Anything could change. And we're surely going to see a change of lead with Tom only 4 tenths behind.
Yeah, fantastic restart there from all of our drivers. Elray Guri doing an absolutely fantastic job to lead this grid away. There's a little bit of gameplay around that final corner, catching Tom on the early break and then pulling away to restart lap 58. And we're going to go on board with Tom here. He's full bug catcher mode as he tries to chase down Elray Guri for the lead of this race. DRS not available, of course, for the first 2 laps after the safety car restart. He looks around the outside, tried to look down the inside, and Dale has crashed out. He's out of the race. There's no safety car at the moment. And for the AlphaTauri, it's a retirement in the pits.
Yeah, so the AlphaTauri out of this one, but Tom, who is in full bug catcher mode, he's really focused on extending the gap. Remember, the 3 cars behind him do not have any kind of penalty. That could be hugely beneficial to the likes of GB68, who could jump up into the top 4 position here very, very easily. So he needs to get by Elway Giri and create a gap, but he does not want to lose time battling him. Elway Giri will know that. He just needs to keep him keen and know that he's going to be quick enough to extend the gap in front. Meraki, though, in 3rd position, needs to get behind needs to get in front of Tom rather, and needs to get on with it because those cars don't have any penalties. Michihori and GB68 also don't have any penalties. There's only 4 laps to go in this one, and it is anyone in the top 5, barring Tom, who could easily go for the win here.
Yeah, exactly. Meraki has got to lay up his options. He's down within about 2/10 of the Alpine in front of him. No DRS down this straight for the second time as they approach towards turns 1 and 2. El Guri gets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:15.833, and that is showing his pure race pace at the moment. DRS, of course, being enabled as they cross the start-finish line down towards turn 2 and 3. The Tamarillo chicane. Everyone gets through there nicely. No moves further back as well. GB is slowly gaining on Michihori as well as we go back to Alex Gillen and Dakai Vince really battling it out. These two having previous instance, and actually Alex has got past Dakai Vince to get up into the up into P10.
So it could be a third time where Alex Gillen does not finish on the podium. But GB68, but Michihori has gone off. He was pushing very, very hard. He was low on battery, and he's pulling to one side as he recovers through Tosa. He's had a moment through Tosa, and Alex Gillen now looking to have the impetus to go around the outside at Piratella. Very brave around the outside there. He does get the move done. But if we go back to the front, it'll be El Giri versus Tom versus Meraki. Remember, these cars will have DRS this lap. Tom will be able to close down. And I think El Giri's trying to use a bit of battery to create a gap, create a safety buffer to Tom, because as soon as El Giri loses that position, he'll be vulnerable to Meraki, who is in a genuine race for him. It's going to be these top 3 who will be fighting. I think Safso and GB68 just a little bit too far behind, unless these top 3 battle like hooligans and take chunks out of each other's time. But Meraki will open up the DRS, but doesn't have the pace. There we are, GB68 getting by Safso. But look, Tom closing towards El Giri, but choosing not to pass. He knows his race is not with the 2 that are around him, but he can act as a buffer to El Giri and in kind get maybe a podium position or maybe a top 5 out of this one, and Tom could still be within fighting distance of this championship.
Yeah, the 2 Aston Martins battling further back in your shot. Meraki trying everything he's got to try and get around this roadblock that Tom's setting up. Guri thanking him almost for the support as they head down that start-finish straight. Tom just backed off the accelerator a little bit. GB has made ground on his teammate though, and the Aston Martins working together to secure 4th and 5th here. Bending any penalties. GB's gone purple in Sector 1, so absolutely flying with that DRS assistance, but he has no battery. That rear light flashing under 10% now as they head through the Variante Alta down towards Ravizza, the final few corners of lap 61 of 63 here. 2 laps remaining when they cross the finish line. Penultimate lap incoming.
Look at that, GB68 has got himself into that DRS window. He wants to be part of this fight. He wants his first win in the Creator Series. He is the man with the most points without winning the Creator Series. 2 and 6 second places, 2 this season, and Tom has finally made a move on El Giri, but Meraki not close enough to capitalise on this one, but it means that he will be in touching distance of the race lead. Tom looking to extend that gap in any way he can. Remember, all of the top 6 are on 10 lap old softs. They are all on the same age of softs. There is no advantage between any of them. But look at that gap to leader. Meraki is only a second behind the leader. And remember, Tom has that 3-second penalty. He would fall down all the way to P6, to P5 even, as things stand, because Sasso also has that penalty. So very, very interesting here. It's going to be a grandstand finish. And realistically, we only have one more long overtaking opportunity down the long straight. So here we are, Tom. First position, El Giri in second. He's really first on the road once penalties are applied. There's a yellow flag being waved through Sector 2. I think an incident involving Razin Shai, our championship leader, losing points. That's going to be hugely consequential. But here we are, El Giri behind Tom. He needs to go and attack him and take that place on this lap. This is going to be super, super important. But Meraki, look, he's been struggling with battery all day. He's not going to be close enough to challenge El Giri. And El Giri may even have a crack for the overall lead of the race. And El Giri has surely just took the position that will give him his second win in the Creator Series, his first of the season, and he goes up into P1. What can Meraki do? I don't think he can do anything. GB68 has fallen out of that second gap, so I think he's going to have to settle for third, and it is going to be fantastic for a recovery for him because he was absolutely in no man's land through part of this race. Safso robbed Dave Gaming, and Dirk Chocolate in 8th position. Unbelievable. What is he doing up there? But he will lose some positions because of penalties, and he's only got 3 seconds worth of penalties, so we'll gain on Dave Gaming. But look at that. El Rey Giri still in first here, but Tom not too far behind. He's battling him, he's pushing him all the way because he needs every single bit of gap he can. And with the gap at the moment, I think he'd be dropping to around 5th position. But he's pushing, maybe even a little bit too much as he's a bit squirrely on traction out of the Variante Alta. But El Rey Giri, who returned to the series this season, has made an absolute splash, and he gets his 2nd win in the Creator Series, his 1st of Season 5. Tom will be demoted a few positions. Meraki up into 2nd, his best finish this season. And GB68 into 3rd, his best finish since round 2 of the season, and way back into championship contention.
Yeah, fantastic finish there by GB68. He was facing some issues early. He's managed to overcome them, recover the setup issues he was saying earlier, the oversteery car he was fearing. Razin Chai finishing in P11 as well, so just in the points as well. But let's just take a moment to appreciate Meraki. He's gone from P20 to P2. A fantastic drive from the Williams, unfathomable, and definitely driver of the day.
Absolutely. Dirk Chocolate was in 7th position. I just find that incredible. Absolutely incredible that he finished in 7th position here. This is crazy, but of course it's El Rey Giri's day. The Spaniard returns to form in the Creator Series. It's fantastic to have him back, and he gets that win for the Alfa Romeo. He's been in the mix all day. He kept his nose clean, 2 warnings, kept his powder clean, and he takes the win. And we are going to go over and have a look at the standings because it's been topsy-turvy in the championship. I can hardly believe my eyes, guys. I'm quaking. Dirk Chocolate is in 7th position, but Meraki's in 2nd. He's got some good points today. GB68 has got some good points today. I cannot wait to look at the standings because it's going to be so close. Tom in 4th, Safso 5th, Alex Gillen in 6th. He had a great recovery drive there. Dirk Chocolate in 7th. That's going to be fantastic. A huge boost to his 10 points, in fact, towards his championship challenge to get out of those playoff spots. That guy, Vince, in 8th. Dave Gaming in 9th. Rob in 10th. Razin Shai did get himself back into 11th position, so he does get 4 or 5 points. 12th is Mishi Hoya. 13th is Nugera. 14th is Emphatic, and 15th is Chesnoid Gaming. Peya in 16th. 17th is Mr. Dale, classified, but did not reach the race end. Devil Noob retiring. M Sky Z knocked out of this one. Really disastrous for me. It could have been a championship defining day for M Sky Z, and I think it has been in the wrong direction. And Tim at Marduk having his first DNF since season 2 of the series in a feature race.
Yeah, fantastic drive from a lot of our guys. Devil Noob getting his 5 minutes in the sun on that safety car restart. So a fantastic bit of tactical team play from the Williams driver there. But can I just mention El Rey Giri walking away with maximum points from that race, not just finishing first, but getting fastest lap on that final lap as well. Fantastic drive from the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, lots of love for Meraki and chat, just reading through. It's great to see, and very much a fan of your driver of the day pick. El Rey Giri certainly did a great job today as well, but a fantastic great. Fastest lap on the last lap as well, so clinching that extra point towards him, which is, just shows the confidence he had to push for that extra lap, knowing that he actually had that 3-second penalty. So if he stretched over the line and got track limits, then that would have been a Meraki win, easy days. So absolutely pushing, confidence for him. So I tell you what, I want to throw over to our clip booker today because he's done a brilliant job. And what have you seen today? What can you give to us right now?
What I can give to you is tensions being high right to the very end. I mean, I was on board with Meraki, for instance, for quite a bit of that last stint because with Tom having his 3 seconds penalty, he had sort of made peace already with the fact he wasn't going to be in a podium spot. But the focus on this man's face as he was going through the track, he was not saying a word. And as I was jumping around, he was the one that every time I jumped back to, he had that steely expression. So he was absolutely gunning for that finish. And keep in mind, P20 to P2. Can you get a better race story, short of last to first? Can you get a better race story than that? Like that was immensely impressive to me. And you look at GB as well, had a really good surge, especially late race. Sapso been very consistent throughout, and even with a couple of wobbles that he had on track, did amazingly well. We saw a bit of an inversion of what I was kind of expecting, because I was keeping the eyes on the likes of Raz and Shy, Alex Gillen, and then we saw them finish with just a couple of points to their name.
Yeah, well, I think there's been quite a lot of introspection from our drivers and creators today after that race, unpicking what just happened. A really topsy-turvy Grand Prix. And I tell you what, I think we're going to go over and just have a quick look at the standings, because it has really turned on its head. It would look like it was going to be a race, a two-horse race between Raz and Shy and M Sky Z coming into this one. But that it hasn't updated with points, so let's not have a look at those standings. Let's get rid of those for now. Those haven't updated, so let's get rid of those and go back. But those that's what it looked like beforehand. We can get it and show you what it's like. But I tell you what, Meraki is in the interview rating room, so let's go and pull the man who got second today from the back row grid. It's his best result of the season. The reigning champion has done something miraculous today. We're also going to give you up to speak to some of the drivers slightly later on. But Meraki is the man we want to speak to now. And
Hello.
wow, Meraki, what a race!
That was fun, wasn't it?
I mean, that you quietly worked your way through the pack in those early stints before those safety cars came, and then you absolutely just picked apart with those safety cars. But a lot of battery issues. Do you think you didn't have those battery issues, you could have pushed for first today?
I always have battery issues, so this is yeah, I'm always flashing, but I don't know. I think El Rey was really, really quick, and I think I got quite lucky with certain things, like, you know, Razin and Alex staying out on their mediums on that first safety car, I think it was. But we still had to overtake them, and I don't know if it was caught on the broadcast, but I think it was one of the best overtakes I've ever done in my entire life, and I want to watch it back. But,
honestly, I can't even remember. I'm having slight amnesia from that race because so much has happened
a lot
over the last 10 laps.
Happened.
It's kind of reset my whole view of the race. But I mean, for you, I mean, I don't think you're too far away from championship contention now, with Raz and Shy failing to pick up many points and M Sky Z not picking up any points. You know, if there's a whiff of the championship over the next 2 rounds, are you going to go for it? Would you ditch your last to first challenge mantra? No, just absolutely. You last to first or nothing.
I've got to do the whole season. Because then people will say, "Oh, you only won the championship because you started qualifying," and it's just like.
but ignoring those 8 races where you didn't do it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I got to the end of that race, right? I got to like lap 62, and I was like, "Oh, we're kind of last lap now." Like there was so much that was happening, just trying to manage, say GB behind, Mishi behind, just kind of overtake where I had to overtake, and it kind of all came together in the end, and it just kind of went very quickly. So.
Absolutely. I mean, TK, what questions do you have for Meraki?
Well, I'll tell you what, trying to attempt to last a first round Imola is crazy enough, and then actually almost pulling it off into P2 is spectacular. That first safety car, though, when everyone was starting to pit, what was kind of going through your mind there? Was there worry about your options, or were you fairly sure of what you were going to do in that scenario?
I mean, I was always going to box. At the start on them softs, I wasn't sure if I was going to box, like, say, go long on the softs and then go on mediums until the end, like, and do a one-stop, or, you know, box a little bit earlier. And thank God I didn't box earlier and stayed out a couple of laps, because the safety car came out at the perfect time. And then I knew the race was on when I heard Razin and Alex say they stayed out on their old mediums. That was the moment where I thought something could be happening in this race, and we could get like a really good result, like at least a podium or something. And thankfully it came to fruition. So
I think Garrett's muted.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm very good at
sort it
muting
out.
myself. You may have
This
noticed
is when he
about
finds out he's
halfway
been
through
muted
the
for the whole
race.
broadcast.
No.
He's been muted for the
Honestly,
whole
I've done it on
broadcast.
2 or 3 occasions tonight. It's because I go for a drink and I don't want to slurp loudly on the mic. So I think,
just
I'll
been
mute
miming.
up. And then,
been
there's
miming.
been a
He's just
couple of
doing
times
hand
today
gestures.
where I've muted up. Apologies to everyone in the Creator Series, especially everyone who's absolutely spamming chat from LA Go's community.
Don't do it again.
So, I mean, what I was saying is, I can't even quite remember. Yeah, did you expect them to pit under that safety car? Because it kind of shocked me that they didn't pit. It seemed like a really
that's why.
simple misstep.
Yeah, that's literally why I was like, I think something could be happening in this race, and I could get a good result because I would normally expect them to I don't know, did they start on the mediums?
Mediums, yep. The only car to start on the softs was, well, in the top 10, I think, was Elway Giving. So it worked out very well for him.
Yeah, so I guess starting on soft was the way to go, apparently, because all the soft starters got on the podium. Well, technically, on track, we got the podium, but...
I have a feeling that late safety car really, really helped.
It did.
With that whole cycle of safety cars really helped Elway Giving. It almost hit at exactly the perfect time for him to capitalise from it.
Yeah, and it helped. I think I got kind of blessed as well, where I think for whatever reason, I think it's Safso, GB, and Mishi. I think they had like a coming together, didn't they? And they kind of dropped like a second and a half back to me, and then GB dumped all of his battery to get past and get into my DRS, but he wasn't close enough. So I think at that point it was just, I guess, solidifying at least a P2, which we managed to do. I kind of gave up. Literally going to turn 1, I was like, I'm not catching him. So
yeah, well,
yeah.
Fantastic to hear from you, Maraki. We'll have a look at
Thank
the end
you.
where you are in the standings, because I think you are within touch of distance. But we are going to go and get someone else in. Someone I think the chat are absolutely desperate to get in.
Get him in!
It is going to be David Castilla, the man, the legend, Elway Giri, for his first win since Season 3. That race, you just had the perfect strategy to cope with that race. Nearly always in the lead of that race.
Yeah, like it's been a great race for me, and really happy to show what I can do. I finally managed to do a great strategy. So I don't know. I feel bad for Skyzy because we had a moment there, and well, overall I had good pace. So can you see my camera? Sorry.
Yeah, we haven't got your camera quite yet, but if you can sort that out. If you can send it in the background, that'd be great. But we can hear you certainly, Elway.
Sorry for that. It's my first time.
No sweat. I mean, it's great to have you in the booth. Your community is certainly loving you having you here, and we really appreciate the raid. I mean, that race, it was just managing different people throughout the whole race. You had a race with Alex Gillen, you had a race with Maraki at the end, and Tom. And through that final stage, you had Tom kind of as a buffer because he had that 3-second penalty. What did you want out of Tom? What was your ideal kind of course, stay in the lead for the whole time, but you did lose that position and then take it on the final lap. What was going through your mind? How did you want to use him to defend?
Yeah, definitely. I tried to stay behind him to maintain the distance with the DRS because I knew Meraki didn't have the penalty as Tom had. So I was also trying to be conservative to make no mistake with the track limits, because if I did one more, I would have the 3-second penalty as Tom. And in terms of pace, I knew Meraki wasn't as quick as us. So I feel comfortable, to be honest. In the last part of the race, I was worried at the beginning with the pace shown by Alex Guillon and Skyzy. And also racing was pretty quick. So we tried to do, well, we did an undercut. Our strategy was pretty decent because we started with the soft compound and then we went for the medium tire. So in that stint, we managed to make the undercut and also decide that it was a good tire, but I didn't have another medium, so we had to go for the hard tire. So in the end, it was great, and I was a bit lucky with the safety cars, except the last one, because like Tom could maybe try to put me nervous to make some mistakes or something like that, but finally it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean that safety car came out at almost a perfect time, that first safety car, because it allowed you to kind of nullify the threat of Alex Gillen and others overtaking you. I mean, you started on that soft tyre. It was a super aggressive decision to start on that soft tyre. What was going through your mind when you thought, right, softs is the way to go, because no one else in the top 5 did it?
We decided that in the Q1 because we had only 4% of deck. And then in Q2, like in previous races, I managed to reach the Q3 with a used tire. So it was pretty good, the tire wear with the soft compound. But during the race with the fuel tank, it was even worse. So generally speaking, we might made a mistake there, but I don't know. We've won the race, so I'm happy.
Yeah, TK, what questions do you have for LA?
Yeah, so we obviously we've spoken about the kind of the start of the race, the opportunity to go on to the softs, going kind of towards the end. Was there a moment in that where you thought, I've won this, I'm not going to be challenged, Tom's going to kind of cause the chaos behind me, and I can see myself kind of winning this?
I was 90% I was going to win the race. Like pretty comfortable because he wasn't as quick as previous races and he had the penalty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a fantastic drive. There was a lot of battling going on behind yourself just to keep up with. Even us in the commentary booth couldn't keep up, let alone trying to look behind you whilst racing at such high speed. So massive props and well done for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, get involved. Get in this. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you way more because I know you're going to be on that podium a few more times, LA.
Hopefully we can fight for the championship in the last 2 races.
Yeah, who knows? Absolutely, you'll be, within touching distance of how Skyzy and Razin have folded today. But it's great to have you here. Great to have your community here as well. Lovely to have them absolutely raid the chat. I've never seen a community absolutely raid our channel like they have done. So fantastic to see that. And yeah, we'll go over to an interview next with the man who finished in 3rd, quite unbelievably after I savaged him at the start of the stream. GB68 really working yourself out of oblivion in that race at points. You were way down the order, but you ended up in 3rd position. Talk us through those final 10 laps.
Yeah, pretty chaotic. I mean, a massive apology firstly to Mitchie. He broke quite early into the left-hand hairpin just at the start of Sector 2. I broke a little bit late, and because we were so close, that's that tiny bit of contact, which didn't break my wing, but it was enough to spin Mitchie. So I was pushing really hard to get past Mitchie because I could see that he was just falling behind David, Tom, and Jake. Yeah, got through after that, dumped a lot of my battery, was never going to really be there to challenge for P1 just because of the battery I had to burn to get DRS. But it was good. It was a good drive. I mean, I don't know if you, Gareth, were you hating on the start of my race, or you mean the start of the stream? What were we saying? Because the start of the race was bad.
The start of the race was poor. I wasn't hating on that. I was just talking about how your form had been mudded since round 2.
Yeah. Right. I got a bone to pick with you, mate. I was watching this on my chat. Right. You exposed me on my own channel. Right. And then literally, I was like, well, bro hasn't even mentioned the wheel issues. What's going on here? Like, what about the races?
I may have mentioned them during the practice sessions. I'm pretty sure.
No. See, TK mentioned it.
That was me.
So TK's my best friend, to be honest.
I definitely mentioned the Renault Spas at some point during the race, so you'll be happy to hear that. But I don't know.
The less said about that, the better.
I mean, having said all that, I said, and I really felt like going into that. I don't know if you felt the same. Skyzy and Vaz and Chai had just done enough to go and make it their championship battle with no Tom 97 today. But we'll get the standings up at some point towards the end of the stream. But it's really not that you're not too far away at all now.
Yeah, the problem is though, which I knew from a long time ago, I've got a friend's wedding next weekend, so I will be unless I manage to persuade them to move their wedding date. I will not be there at Bahrain, unfortunately.
Okay. So you did all that work to get back into the championship for nothing. Yeah. How many friends do you need, GB68? That's all you need to ask.
Can you? Whereabouts are Rassen and the constructors? Because we did really well for that today. That's what I'm happy about.
I'm not quite sure with the constructors. I'll be honest.
Okay, that's fine.
You are somewhere.
I think we gained big because obviously Skyzy DNF'd. Persia, I think, finished fairly low. The Mercedes didn't do well, partly thanks to me. And yeah, so I think we've done really well in constructors today, but I'll look forward to seeing those standings update.
Yeah, I think Razin also has a bone to pick with Meraki as well. So they've both been donked off by other people in this one. So yeah,
oh no, there was a lot of spice this race. I got to say, it was chaotic. I think there were overtakes everywhere. There were sends everywhere. It's quite often these days in Creator Series that you see DRS swapping and quite a lot of tactics in play. But yeah, today wasn't the case. Today it was just send it on every corner. So yeah, good fun though.
TK?
Well, we found out that obviously Aston are P2 in the constructors as things stand. Just a few points off Merc, I believe. 16 points off Mercedes going into the final 2 rounds.
I have a request, please. If 19 full-time drivers could please sign up next week, so Alex Gillen can have the Aston Martin, that would be wonderful.
Tonight, definitely Devil Nubin.
No, that's really cool. I guess we're probably looking like a Jeddah final race of the season shootout in possibly drivers and constructors again, like last season. So that could be exciting.
It could all go down to the wire indeed. And just your thoughts on the qualifying session. Obviously, not necessarily going all too well your way, but mid pack wasn't a bad start for yourself.
No, so I'm going to get the excuses out of the way early. My chat knew that I was mudded last night for my whole rig. I had to deconstruct and reassemble my rig before Creator Series today. I was so off on pace. Quali was horrible. I think I invalidated my first Q1 lap, which put me on the back foot the whole way through. So, yeah, not a good quali. But as you know, as you see from Meraki and others as well, Ben recently, qualifying doesn't always matter. It's important, of course. You can't do yourself any harm to be P1, but also, you know, with safety cars, you can win the race from the back of the grid. So I knew that I was still in play.
Indeed. And what's that on your wheel and rig rebuilds? Number 7 are we on, or number 8?
Honestly, don't even ask. I refuse to comment. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Well, I mean, fantastic to have you here. Fantastic to see you on the podium once again. It's been a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, cheers, guys. I appreciate it.
Just one final question. There's one spot on the podium that you haven't been on yet. When's that going to happen?
Oh well, let's see. Maybe Jeddah. Maybe I'll save it for the last race. We'll see.
Wow, we'll see. Yeah. All from the wedding. Yeah, all from the wedding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
I tell you what. If someone can borrow me a laptop, I'll take a pad, I'll turn into Razin, and I'll race at the wedding.
Imagine going to someone's wedding and racing for 4 hours, and they come in like leave after the breakfast, and then come in
like,
just as the final dances are happening.
Like you may now kiss the bride. Oh my God, what is he doing into that corner? Screaming over the top of the wedding. Yeah, that'll be me.
Wow, fantastic to have you here, GB. Fantastic to see you on the podium again, and
cheers,
have a nice time at the wedding.
Cheers, guys. All right, take care. Till next time.
Right. Okay. Well, that was a crazy race, wasn't it? A crazy race. I think. Do you know what? We can see those standings right now, Sappy. Sappy's plumbed it all in the back end. We're all good. So I'm going to make producer Rob click another button that he doesn't want to do. But look at that. Razin Shai now on 109 points. MSkyZ didn't change 102 points, but it's 100 points for GB68. If he was here next week, he could, you know, there's no reason he couldn't win a championship. But look at Meraki is in touching distance. Tom97 still isn't out of it. He'll be somewhere right now. He's away this week. Delighted about what's happening. But look at that. El Rey Giri in 6th position. He's on 89 points. He's only 20 points behind. And with his form, he could absolutely win this one. And Dirk Chocolate up into 18th position. Only 9 points separates him and Nogueira. How has that happened?
There's been some really big changes from the top and from the bottom as well. And I think GB68 sitting really pretty in 3rd place. Razin and MSky, as we said, won't be too happy about the results that happened this afternoon. But I think that mid-pack, anyone within maybe the top 6, still has potential to win this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say Tim at Marlock, but he's away next week, so he's not going to be doing it. And I think Tom is also away next week, but he's down in 10th position. But yeah, fantastic race. Let's go back to all 3. And I want to talk to Saputron. I want to ask you what your thoughts are from that race.
I'm still collecting them myself, so I'll let you know when I do. No, my big takeaway from it all today is we saw some big upsets in the order. We had our predictions, we went in. The mystery element, I think, definitely played a part in that upset, not being as, say, quickly primed, but at the same time, it gave a real opportunity for those drivers who have the adaptability, who have the raw skill, and they can harness it on a whim to show themselves tonight. I mean, you heard it from GB earlier. He has had setup issues that have really impacted his form, but he's kept going at it, he's kept working, and lo and behold, he had a massive result today. So I think the hard work has definitely been rewarded, and the talent is on full display. Regardless of whether it's a mystery or not, that part's not.
Yeah, that's I couldn't agree more. TK, any final thoughts before we start to wrap this one up?
I think that race was just chaotic from start to end. Not necessarily in a dramatic, not necessarily in a horrible way, but just in anything could have happened from start to finish. Devil Noob leading the race to then being P18 at the end of it. Ero Guri having a fantastic drive throughout, getting that win and fastest lap as well. So fantastic drive from all our drivers, and just chaotic all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic day, hasn't it? I want to know, Sapitron, where can we find you on your socials?
Best place would be my Twitter/X. It would just be at Sapitron, but I also do a lot of work on Twitch when I get the time. I'm a teacher, so I don't always have the time to stream at the moment, but best place to go would be my Twitter.
Absolutely. And what about yourself, TK?
You can find me at pretty much everything at the Mousemeister, apart from Instagram, which is taken, so that is at TK on comms.
Excellent. Fantastic. I've been Gareth Allen. You can find me at Gareth Allen TV on all of the stuff. There's also the F1 Creator Series socials above. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have highlights there and driver reactions every single week. And don't forget, if you've not followed our Twitch channel yet, absolutely get on that follow button. We're here every single Saturday, except on the final race this season, which is Sunday. And we are here for a absolutely thrilling conclusion to this championship. 2 rounds left, Bahrain and Saudi, and we have 2 championships that will be wrapped up, both the F2 and the F1. Thank you so much to everyone who's been here today throughout the comments, and I can't appreciate enough the support that you all give us in the Creator Series. But finally, I'm going to leave you with our race intro again, which has that special F1 Scott music over the top of it. His pipes absolutely bellowing out in true style. Let's all go and enjoy that. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you very soon.
We've got one shot to feel alive. We've only got one shot to feel alive. We've got one shot just to feel alive. We've got one shot. Yeah! We've got one shot, do you feel alive? Get in, get out, you know that we won't back down. To feel alive, waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot. Whoa. We've only got one shot. Whoa. We've got one shot to make it count. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got